Let's see if we can make this happen. Get the last platform. If you're watching reruns, what do I always say? Type rerun in the comment if you're on YouTube, because right now you'll be watching the reruns because nobody's in here yet. So if you're seeing this, that means you're watching the replay. So type rerun if you're one of those guests. Give me a second here. We're talking about fighting for Jesus. there, I'm gonna put on this other one, fighting for God, and I'll put in parentheses what we're really talking about. Good evening, Ez. Appreciate you coming to the program. Give me a minute, folks, and we should be up momentarily. You know how we do. One of these days, I'm gonna get some elevator music or something to play while we doing this. But yeah, give me a minute to get the other platform going, and we should be up momentarily here. One of my devices looks like the processor is acting stupid, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. How's it going, DB Coastal? So far, so good. So far, so good. I had to put on the spectacles so I could. YouTube types the names smaller than they do the actual text. I can read the text without my glasses on, but sometimes I have to put my glasses on to read your actual names. Mac T, I like it. Which Jesus? White Jesus or black Jesus? Are there multiple kinds of Jesus? I'm gonna leave that up to you folks. I don't know. Are there multiple types, multiple kinds of Jesus? Wasn't aware of that. Tim, that white dude is not Jesus. Okay, look, I don't know. That's what I was taught. I was brought up in a Baptist church on the south side of Chicago. I was told that Jesus is a white man. You know, just like the song you may have heard coming up, Santa Claus is a black man. Well, Jesus, I was told, is white. So what am I missing out on? Because I was told Jesus was a white man. In fact, he was not only white, he had blue eyes and everything. So he was straight up a white man. So maybe somebody was playing games, or they didn't adjust their set right, got the wrong colors. I don't know, but I was told Jesus is a black man. I mean, Jesus is a white man. Just about here, ready, and looking in the comments here real quick. Jesus is a black man. Middle Eastern, would you settle for Middle Eastern? I mean, that's where all of that took place, right? You would assume he was Middle Eastern of some type, of some sort, unless he's a European that walked a long damn way to make his point. So maybe Jesus is a white man that just simply loved to walk. So it looks like we're up on all platforms. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Good evening to Noria on Instagram. Welcome to the program. So we're talking about fighting for Jesus. And the Jesus in the Bible has hair like lamb's wool, skin like bronze, burned in a furnace. Now that doesn't sound like a white man, but hey, I've been told Jesus was a white man. Or better yet, I get told every damn thing, because in the comments, Jamie Lunez is saying you are an imbecile. So I'm being told I'm an imbecile as well. So I get told I'm every damn thing. But I'm going to go ahead and go into the monologue. And while I'm doing the monologue, I will ask that you folks smash that like button and all of that other good shit. Well, right now it's a bit early to ask because all of the folks are still filtering in. The numbers are too low to ask that because most people are not watching it just yet. Welcome. What is this? Liberal says, welcome, civilized conversation from both sides of the aisle with fear. With fear of being block banned, that should say with no fear of being block banned or censored. I must have wrote that wrong. I gotta go and change that. Apparently my bio's wrong. Tim, put your Wi-Fi stuff on. Okay, that's a good. Thank you for telling me that, Evil. I'm not on Wi-Fi. Okay, there we go. I am now on Wi-Fi, so let me know. That should clear that up. Sorry about that. Evil B by Boo. Thank you for letting me know that early on in the show, because I was not on Wi-Fi, and it matters. It matters. Anyway, I'll go ahead and start the program. In fact, let me make sure everything's on Wi-Fi. Okay, so we're talking about fighting for Jesus, and where the hell does that come from? But before we get into that, we always have receipts, et cetera, Tim in 4K now. Yeah, because I got good Wi-Fi. I bought some of the best fiber you could get to make the show possible. But if I'm playing it on 5G, it ain't gonna work. And that's what was happening. We're on 5G. Jesus was not a white man, says handsome conservative, nor was he a black man. Jesus is for every man. Support your local liberal. That's a statement. He was not a white man. He was not a black man. He was simply an entity for everybody. I like that. That is non-confrontational. I really like that. So getting into the show, fighting for Jesus is what we're going to be talking about. And you'll see what I mean when we get around to it. But before we do, I want to ask you folks something. Based on this montage. Now, we talked about the ballroom yesterday, and we're not going to get into the ballroom too much today. But unless it comes up, unless you folks start direct, sometimes you guys do have the power to direct the show as well, depending on the questioning, depending on the comments, depending on the callers. The show can go in many different directions depending on your direction of the show as well. But we're not going to get too deep into the ballroom. But I do want to ask a question. Does honesty matter? Are we at a place where honesty matters? Now, when it comes to the ballroom, originally this was all about private donors, et cetera, et cetera. I want to give you a montage so you understand what the hell I'm talking about.
I'm paying for it. The countries that we're donating a $400 million ballroom, myself and donors are giving them free of charge for nothing. We did this no charge to the taxpayer whatsoever. Rich people and people are putting up the money, zero taxpayer dollars. I think it'll cost $250 million, and it will be, I think the finest, it's about $300 million, approximately $400 million. I think I'll do it for less, but it's 400. I should do it for less. I will do it for less, but just in case I say 400.
Now you heard him go from 200 million to 350 million. Now he's saying 400 million, but he might do it for less. There's a couple things. Now, the Senate, Lindsey Graham is already asking for $1 billion in taxpayer money for this ballroom. But you hear President Trump from several different clips, thanks to CNN, and I know a lot of my beloved MAGA want to say CNN is fake news. You can't call it fake news when he's on TV saying it himself. But I asked the question, does honesty matter? How the hell did the ballroom start out at 200 million and he was going to pay for, went to 350 million that he was going to pay for, went to 400 million that he was going to pay for, and then now they're asking for $1 billion from the taxpayer, so he's not paying for anything, all in the span of about a year. How does that happen? How does the price for this ballroom expand that much in less than a year's time? I mean, when they made the plans for this, how could it? I mean, 200 million originally to what Lindsey Graham is requesting now, 1 billion. That means it's increased 5 times the original statement they get. That's a 5-fold increase in less than a year. They haven't even started on it yet, and they've already determined they need more than 5 times what they originally said it was going to cost. Does being honest matter? I want to ask you folks that. Because obviously, if Lindsey Graham is successful in getting $1 billion from the taxpayers to pay for this ballroom, that means everything that Trump just said here is not true. 200 million, 300 million, 350 million, 350 million. I'm going to pay for it. It's not going to cost the tax. All of that stuff is a lie. That means everything you just seen here coming from Trump was not true. So I'm just simply asking right off the start of the program, does honesty matter? Or should we go into the whataboutisms? Obviously Trump is not being honest here. His statements did not come out to be true. So let's bring up something Biden or Obama did. Whataboutisms. Does honesty matter? So we're going to talk about that. If you want to go into the ballroom, we will. But simply put, you got him on video saying a lot of things that are not true. Does honesty matter? Now, I also want to ask another question. Now, we're talking about, as you've seen, the title of the piece is going to be Fighting for Jesus. Why the hell are we saying that? Well, I want you to once again hear another clip that now this right here I think is important. This is where the show gets to be a tad bit important. We're talking about fighting for Jesus. Now, once again, I was mentioning Lindsey Graham a minute ago, talking about $1 billion for the ballroom. But here is something Lindsey Graham said recently as well. Nothing to do with the ballroom, more to do with fighting for Jesus.
If you're an American, it's not a hard choice if you're a Christian. A word of warning. If America pulls the plug on Israel, God will pull the plug on us. And we're not going to let that happen. So I just want to end with this thought that President Trump has stood with Israel at the most difficult time since its founding. October the 7th was an effort to destroy the state of Israel, the largest loss of Jewish life since the Holocaust. And here we are almost 2 years later, and Israel's the bad guy.
So you hear what Lindsey Graham says. If America pulls the plug on Israel, God will pull the plug on America. So if we don't continue helping Israel, God will punish us. You just heard Lindsey Graham say that. But I'm asking, we're talking about fighting for Jesus, folks, because it doesn't end with with Senator Lindsey Graham.
Bible phrase, you don't have context for it, you don't know where in the Bible it is, but
I want you to, we played.
What is that even in school?
We played this before.
I was taught, growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my. You pull out the phone and use the.
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about a political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
the
God's referring to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
So they're arguing about the Bible, suggesting that you hear Ted Cruz suggesting that the Bible says that those who bless Israel will be blessed and those who don't will be cursed. So just like Lindsey Graham, he is using essentially Christianity as a defense for why we must stand by Israel. So we're talking about fighting for Jesus. That's what we're talking about, fighting for Jesus. On some of the streams, I kind of put Israel in parentheses, but they are indeed saying that we are commanded by our deity to defend Israel. Now, I want to play another clip for you. Once again, this features Tucker, but I'm not sure this is accurate. And when you hear it, I would appreciate if you folks could put true or false in the comments. Listen to what Tucker Carlson says, and let me know if you believe what he is saying is true or false. Now, He's gonna respond to Megyn Kelly, but true or false, what Tucker Carlson is saying here?
Terms, Tucker.
Israel could not sustain a blockade or defend itself for 24 hours without the $1.5 trillion U.S. military backstopping it and enforcing the longstanding defense guarantee that we have with Israel. If that were to go away, Israel would have two choices. It would either suffer elimination or would use nuclear weapons. So that's where we'd be without the United States government backstopping Israel, period. So anybody who...
So true or false, do you believe that Israel, as Tucker Carlson is saying, could not defend itself if it was not for America's you hear him say $1.5 trillion backstop. So in other words, America is completely funding the defense of Israel. Do you think that is true or false? Now, see in the comments, there is a healthy complement of both. Some folks are saying it's true, and some folks are indeed saying it is false. I know we help out Israel, but as far as us being their sole provider, because here's one of the things I want to ask you folks. Ever since President Trump became our 47th commander in chief, well, probably even when he was 45th as well, you've heard a lot of MAGA echoing the sentiment of President Trump about how useless NATO is, how they don't come to our aid, how much money we waste on NATO, all of this stuff. But they're defending Israel, and if Tucker Carlson is correct, we spend more money on Israel than we do on all of NATO. Not to mention, like after September 11th, when we invoked Article 5 of the NATO treaty, Israel didn't really help us. The other nations in NATO did. But it's going to lead to the question I want to ask you. Why is MAGA more critical of NATO than Israel? NATO hasn't done anything for us. All we've done is gave NATO money. But all of that stuff applies to Israel on a larger scale. They haven't done anything for us either. And we give them even more money. So is there more to this? Which is why I'm asking that question. Are we indeed fighting for Jesus? Perhaps when it comes to Israel, we don't need anything back from them because we're fighting for Jesus. So you don't expect anything back. You're doing it for the deity. And Israel is the beneficiary. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. And last but not least, this alleged peace talks going on with Iran once again. I just want to ask a simple question, and I want to get your opinion about this because we don't know. We're going to all speculate together here, but how do we get out of Iran? That's what I'm going to be asking each caller. In your opinion, your speculation, how do we get out of Iran? What should we do? Should we just tuck our tails between our legs and walk away? Should we nuke them to the Stone Age or something in between? How do we get out of Iran? So those are our three topics for today. As always, you guys know what I'm going to ask. Tap the screen, get the likes on up. If you're watching us on YouTube, smash that like button. We don't block, ban, or censor any damn body on this program. You know what we always say. We're MAGA friendly till the end. We've been MAGA friendly since day one. We'll remain that way in its entirety. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. You can be critical of anybody on this program up to and including the host. So that's how we do it here. Looking in the comments, I don't care what the reason is. At least they are trying to get rid of the bad guys. So as long as they're trying to get rid of the bad guys, you're willing to give them an endless amount of tax money. Nicole, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Oh, honey bunny, I missed you.
Okay, you gotta be calm today, because you're.
I will for you, Buttercup.
Okay, so the question we're asking is, how do we get out of Iran? Because it looks like, to some degree, we're fighting for Jesus of some sort.
You know what? Let me tell you about Jesus. Jesus wouldn't even do this kind of crap. You know what I mean? People don't even read the Bible. Because it's not in the Bible that we have to do that.
Well, did you not hear Ted Cruz? He's literally quoting scripture.
This is a moron that needs to go drink. And Drew take his damn life. I'll go through me off damn self. What he's doing is fucked up. What he's doing is false prophet on him. And what he's doing is speaking out of the Bible that he don't know nothing about. Because it does not say in the Bible that we have to go defend whatever that shit that is, Israel. It does not say that in the Bible.
Well, he not only quoted scripture there, ma'am, he actually gave the particular spot.
And guess what cause it is? Where in the Bible?
Well, I'll tell you right off the bat, Straight Talk Commerce says, yes, it does say that in the Bible. So
Straight talk, kiss my black ass. And what? Which is no good but nothing, cracker ass.
hey, we're trying to be nice today, right?
I'm toning it down. At least I didn't call him a fucking. I didn't call him out his damn name.
Okay.
This little racist ass.
Well,
See, you forget mofos. He's racist, and I don't like his ass.
okay, well, we don't, he's not saying anything that's racist. But do you need me to play it again? Because Ted Cruz.
No, thanks to play it again. It's not in the Bible.
Well, he actually.
It's not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible.
Okay.
It does not say we have to defend Israel.
Well,
No, it does not.
how about what Lindsey Graham stated? Lindsey Graham.
I just told you. Lindsey Graham's full of shit. And now look, now he wants $1 billion for the ballroom. I thought private people was going to pay for it. You see how full of shit he is? He is bleeding us dry. He is. Do you know that we have more debts than the GDP?
Yeah, but when you say Trump is bleeding us dry and all this stuff you're saying, how about the notion that the ballroom is needed for safety? They've tried to take they just tried to take the man's damn life again. And
Why? All that shit was staged. Oh my God, his ratings are down. First time. Oh my God, they pew-pewed my ear. If they really did to his ear, he wouldn't even have an ear. They put a tampon and a damn pad on his ear. And what? The second time, damn, any of these mofos, where they at? Where's all these people at? Nowhere. They can't even pew-pew right.
well,
When they did Charlie Crackdown, booyah, cuz.
let's be hold on. Let's be clear. You don't even have Democratic representatives at the congressional or Senate level saying that was a staged assassination attempt. They were there.
They don't got the balls to say shit.
They were there.
Shit like that. All this time, Tim, quit sucking that dick, man. You gotta get some balls, man. I got bigger balls than you, and I got coochie.
Why the hell would a president stage his own damn assassination
Because
attempt?
every time, the polls are going down. Every time, there's something going on. Oh my God, he's in a crisis. He wants his polls to go back up, but they're not moving because he's the worst president. We got more debts. He is taking money. Now the airport is being named in Florida over him, and now people have to buy only what Trump and him want. Come on, man.
What's wrong with them? Hold on.
You're stupid.
What's wrong with them naming an airport after him? Perhaps in Florida they think he was a great president. If bullshit. No, bullshit. If they think that President Trump in the Sunshine State, the state of Florida, if they believe he was a great president, what's wrong with them naming an airport after him?
He's not a great president. He's just leeching. His family is making money off of the presidency. And isn't that against the law and shit? Isn't that against the Constitution? Oh, you motherfuckers forgot about that, right?
I got California.
That's why I can't stand some of you black men that voted. And I know you probably did vote for him, but you're too of a coward to even admit it. So I swear to God, you're undercover MAGA, because you so on your knees so hard for a white man that don't give two fucks about you.
I got California Red in the comments saying he is the best president. So.
Oh yeah, they like to suck his dick. They want something from him.
No.
And they're never gonna be at his damn table.
No.
None of the fucking, you know what? No trash white people that's so dirt poor that are food stamps and Medicaid that vote for him. FAFO, because they're taking everything from you, motherfuckers, and you swore up and down that man was going to help you. No, he's helping the billionaires. You don't vote for a billionaire. You think he's going to come and save the white trash like you guys? Hell no.
President Trump has 2+ years in office. Okay, things are not perfect right now, but the man deserves a chance. He has the rest of his term ahead of him.
Whatever, Tim. Go kiss his dick, man. His little pickle that he has. Go do it, Tim. Yes, master. And go get your whips, too. That's how he's going to put you in. You a house nigger.
Okay, well, first of all...
Push back on me. But you know what? When the damn race Because every time they update your shit, you say,
Okay, you're
let this get all the shit. And then we have to go and fight just to keep our truth on it. Because all the shit that they be talking about is fake. Like, what does that do? They said that he liked the fact that what? They took our voting rights away down south?
okay.
And you just stood there laughing at him.
I got folks in the comments asking a simple question directed at you, ma'am. Why the hell are you so angry? That's what they're saying. Why are you so angry?
Why am I so angry? Because I got affected by this shit. I have people that got deported for nothing. I have family that got deported, and they was doing the right damn thing. They was in line for a green card. They was doing everything fucking right. So fuck you, fuck everything about you, the damn maggots. So yeah, when I say I'm pissed, yeah, and if they was on fire, I'll put gasoline on them.
What if?
Give $2 about their ass.
Okay, I get your anger, but if President Trump, in regards to dealing with Iran,
He's not a president. He's a fucking rapist. He's a fucking assayer. He's a fucking pedo.
he is an American that is entitled to his day in court. You haven't proved him guilty of any of that shit. He isn't guilty of anything you're claiming, so you can't just call him that.
What are you talking about? He was convicted for assay.
No, he was not. He was
He was so, you dumbass.
he was found liable. He wasn't found guilty.
Same thing as guilty.
No, it's not. If he was guilty, he'd be in jail.
Go Google right the fuck now, and the judge will tell you. The judge said it. He raped her. He fucking raped her, and the only reason why they couldn't do anything because of statutes of the limitations. It's in the fucking files, you dumb fuck.
If he was guilty, he would be in jail. He's not guilty. He was found liable civilly.
Liable and guilty are the same thing, you dumb nut.
That's not the same thing. You don't.
And you're a Democrat, and you over here saying it's not the same thing. It is. It's responsible. Guilty, responsible. Liability, responsible. Go look at the damn definition, you nutcase.
I think
I know you're a fucking maggot.
I think you have what they continue to suggest as Trump derangements. You just hate the guy.
All up in your mouth, and you're dripping it. How about that?
Okay, you definitely.
And he was right.
Stacey Ann says, "Can I go follow this lady?" if you got she's on Instagram.
You're here defending a pedo. You're here saying, "Oh, it's not the same thing." It is the same thing. The only reason why he didn't convict it because he's a statute of limitations. How dare you either come up in this bitch say it's not the same thing? It's like you sound like a fucking dog fuck.
It's not the same thing. You just hate the guy.
Guilty. Go look. Go look. It is guilty. Responsible. Liability. Responsible. Go look what the judge said. He did rape her.
You need to calm down, acknowledge the fact that he is.
You need to get the dick out your mouth and quit bobbing it like you was bitch.
He
Get
is.
the fucking balls.
He is not only my president. He is your president as well. There's no need for you to be disrespectful. But you're pinning all kinds of ridiculous labels on the guy that he hasn't been convicted of.
Rapist. Hey, okay, you know what? Another thing that's funny? He wants us to pay for it. He wants us to go and pay the 80, whatever the fucking amount it is, with that woman. He wants us to pay for it now. Did you hear about that?
You're saying he wants us to pay for the judgment against E. Jean Carroll?
Yeah, you stupid fuck.
How?
Go ask the white man that. And then he wants to pay $1 billion from us too because of his taxes?
Okay, well, first of all,
You need to go look this shit up. If you're going to have a fucking platform, at least have a damn decent one and stand out fucking what you're worth. Instead of trying to justify him raping that fucking woman.
okay, well, Doomsday Menace says, Straight Talk says, she ain't getting any money at all. He says,
He needs to go get fucked by a damn bitch in prison, man. That's what he needs to do with his race. It's no good for another big bald-headed fucking twit. I guarantee you, I swear to God, if he ever seen me in person and he talks that shit about black people, I would body whop his damn ass.
Oh.
I would break his fucking jaw.
okay, well, we'll leave it at that.
Don't even be with me.
We'll leave it at that. I appreciate you coming through as always. Thank you. And hopefully it don't get that bad. Anyway, tap the screen, folks. Get us up to 30,000. We'll continue the program on. Now she's making threats on the live. Yeah, Stevie D, yeah. But I'll tell you something. With her on that platform, the show is essentially safe. So that might be that may be the direction this needs to go. I mean, because that platform is a little bit different. The censorship is not as great. And you can't report somebody on TikTok that's not on TikTok. So I do applaud her. After what happened yesterday, I applaud her for coming from a different platform. Anyway, tap the screen, get the likes up to 30,000. We'll take the next caller. We're talking about fighting for Jesus. For now that some more of you folks have tuned in, before I go to the next caller, I do want you to hear a little bit of what we were discussing. And just for shits and giggles, not to play this from too far back, I do want to cue it up from the right spot, because this is what we mean when we say, or better yet, what we're alluding to when we suggest that we may be fighting for Jesus.
To people party, I'm tired of this crap.
Let me rewind it.
And that's the big difference, folks. To people in my party, I'm tired of this crap. Israel is our friend. They're the most reliable friend we have in the Mideast. They're a democracy, surrounded by people who would cut their throats if they could. This is not a hard choice if you're an American. It's not a hard choice if you're a Christian. A word of warning. If America pulls the plug on Israel, God will pull the plug on us.
By way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you folks agree with Lindsey Graham? If we pull the plug on Israel, God will pull the plug on us. Yes or no in the comments. Do you agree with what Lindsey Graham is saying? I'll go to the next caller. By the way, tap the screen, get the lights on up. Certainly help your boy out with the hat and mustache TikTok cap goes, if you will. I'm just now asking that for the first time, so certainly show the program some love. But yes or no in the comments, how many of you folks agree with Lindsey Graham that if we pull the plug on Israel, that God will pull the plug on us? You heard Lindsey Graham say that. I do have some folks saying yes, but it looks like more of you are saying no. We'll go to the was it Doomsday or Handsome Conservative? Good evening, Conservative. Now, you're a Christian. Do you agree with Lindsey Graham?
His father would be turning over in his grave right now.
You're saying Lindsey Graham's father?
Yep. His father would be turning over in his grave. That's political nonsense. Yes, we are supposed to stand with Israel, but I would remind you, the Israel government did not exist when that was said. Okay, there are two different things. We are supposed to stand with the Israel people. We are supposed to help defend the Israel people. We are not supposed to stand with a government that blindly rips us off for millions of dollars under the guise of standing with Israel. That's two different things.
So you're saying the government of Israel, the current government of Israel, is ripping off America in what way?
Millions and millions of dollars. I'm all for supporting Israel, the people. I'm all for protecting the people. But when that was written in the Bible to stand with Israel, this government did not exist. So they're twisting the words. I'm sorry. I am a Christian, but that is not what it means. Not at all.
You're not only Christian, you're also conservative. You favor these people, right?
I favor the Bible, and I favor the Word, and I would remind you that Netanyahu and that government did not exist at the time that was written. There are two different things. I will defend Israel. I would support the defense of Israel, like I have told you many times before, but defending the people and defending a corrupt government are two different things.
So how do you? So I'm trying to figure out my wording here, because your side. Well, you're not MAGA, but you are a conservative. Your side is very critical of NATO, indicating that NATO hasn't done anything for us. We don't need NATO. Is Israel doing things for us? Because we spend a lot, listening to what you're saying, we probably spend more money on Israel than all of NATO combined. Can you help clear that up for me?
I'm coming at this from a religious angle, because that's what you were talking about.
Right.
From a religious angle, we are supposed to, as Christians, support and stand. Hold on, let me get rid of this call. I apologize.
No, go ahead. Do your thing.
We are supposed to support and stand up for the Israel people, for the people, not the government. The government did not exist. It has nothing to do with NATO. It has to do with a Christian state. To understand this, go ahead.
Okay, so if you're saying not the government, but we're supposed to stand with the people, then let me ask you, based on what Lindsey Graham said, do you agree that if we do not stand with the Israeli people, God will pull the plug on us?
If we disobey God's commandments, yes, he's going to pull the plug on us.
What does that mean? Explain that to me. As a Christian, what does that mean?
What I'm trying to tell you is God never said the government. God said,
I get that part. Okay, let's take the government out of it. What does it mean to stand with the Israeli people, and what does it mean to have God pull the plug on us? Explain that.
I mean, to me personally, if they are being attacked, we defend them. If they are being trying to be conquered by another country, we defend them.
So in other words, we treat them like a member of NATO, even without them being a member of NATO.
They're the chosen people of God. That's what the Bible says.
Do they have to defend us if we're attacked?
Does the Bible say that?
I'm asking you. I'm not as biblically.
The Bible clearly says to stand with his chosen people. That if you stand against his chosen people, then he will for better or worse have wrath against us. So, I don't have the Bible on me right now, but it's in the Bible.
So just to be clear, I see people some folks in the comments are agreeing with you. Then others, I got somebody saying this guy is a fake Christian, and somebody else is saying that that's not my Jesus.
I just went over this today in the Bible today. This was a part of the chapter that I was studying. For whoever thinks I'm a fake Christian, crack open your Bible, because it's clear as day. So I understand, Tim, you don't crack open the Bible. You got questions.
Yes.
That I respect. But if you're calling yourself a Christian and you can't tell the difference between supporting the people and supporting a corrupt government that takes advantage of
Christian, I have to ask you this. We obviously are not the only country on earth that reads the Bible. England, is Christian. Most of Western Europe are Christian countries. Why don't they seem to have that same gung-ho approach of we gotta stand with Israel? In fact, the Pope is in Rome. They're not talking like this.
Well, first of all, it has to do with being a Christian.
They're not Christians?
I'm going to put it like this. If they were a Christian and they followed the teachings that were in the Bible, they would be standing with Israel. Now, I mean, under the assumption that Israel is being attacked or Israel is needing to be defended or something like that, the people,
okay,
not the government. If they're not standing with Israel, then and they call themselves Christians, I would suggest that they check their faith and crack open the Bible again.
So because like I said, most of Western Europe is not doing this. In the comments, somebody says, thanks to these people, Trump won, keep going DMs. Well, he's not running again, but I get your point. But I don't know. So what, is America better at reading the Bible than all these other countries that are not doing this?
It's not about being better. It's about whether you're truly a Christian, whether you understand the teachings that are in the Bible. Remember, they do a lot of things in the UK, and I'm just using them as the example, that aren't in the Bible. They believe in a lot of things that go against the teachings. So, I mean, are they Christian? I wouldn't say they are. Are they following the rule, the law set down? No, I wouldn't say they are.
This is complicated. I mean, because I'm just not understanding how
I can't explain it any easier.
Well, hold on. Hold on. The Pope himself, I would assume nobody knows the Bible more than the Pope, and you don't hear them talking like this.
You would assume that nobody knows the Bible better than the Pope. I would remind you that the Pope, said there are more than one way to heaven, where the Bible says there's only one way, and that's through the Son, Jesus Christ. So clearly the Pope doesn't know what he's talking about.
So according to your understanding,
there's not multiple paths. The Bible says that very clearly, and it also says to stand with the chosen people, to defend Israel.
So according to your understanding, Israel is a chosen people, and we must stand with them when they're attacked. But because we're not the chosen people, if we're attacked, they have no obligation to help us out whatsoever. Is that am I getting that correct?
There's nothing in the Bible.
But give it to me simple. Hold on. Give it to me simple. Is that a yes or a no? Is that if they're attacked, the Bible says we must help them because they're chosen. We're not chosen. So if we're attacked, they don't have to help us. Is that correct, yes or no?
That's correct.
Okay. Wow.
And can I tell you why that's correct, since you wanted a yes or no? Sure. The reason that that's correct is because America did not exist at the time. So America, the Bible's not going to say defend all people of Christian faith. It said defend God's chosen people.
Well, is there anybody that existed at that time that Israel is obligated to help if they're attacked?
The Bible is very clear on what it says, and I've told you 3 times already. It says to defend.
So Israel. Well, what I'm trying to do is get yes or no answers from you. What I'm trying to ask you is this. So in other words, because Israel is the chosen one, if they are attacked, the Bible commands you to defend them, but the Bible does not command them to help anyone else. Is that correct?
Well, technically, the Bible says to stand with Israel, to stand with the chosen people.
Right. Is Israel commanded by the Bible to help anyone else out if they are attacked?
I have been through the Bible frontwards and backwards, and I can tell you honestly, I have never come across a passage that said Israel needs to defend the UK or the EU or Russia or America. That's not in the Bible. You're asking me a question that's not in the Bible.
So the Bible doesn't. So you've been through the Bible from cover to cover, and what you're saying is you have never seen anywhere in there where Israel is commanded to help anyone.
There's nowhere in the Bible that says Israel has to defend, I believe they call us Gentiles, non-Israel that are Christians. No, that's not in the Bible. And if I'm wrong on that, I just haven't gotten to it.
Wow.
So, I mean, but as far as what I have gotten to, no, that's not in there. And I understand. I'm for defending them. I'm for standing with them.
This sounds exactly
something's in the Bible that's not there.
This sounds exactly what the program is titled in regards to fighting for Jesus. So
they're not fighting for Jesus. They're using Christianity as an excuse to attack anybody and call it defense against Israel. Israel's not being attacked. Israel's being attacked right now, but we have like the Iron Dome and we have things like that to help defend Israel. But what the Bible's talking about is defending the people, not defending a government, whether or not you agree with that government.
Okay. Well, I mean, you really set my comments afire. Lonely Therapy says, tell this caller to go move over there since he loves them so much more than American people. So,
in a heartbeat, absolutely, I would. But I would remind you that the snarky comments that are coming on your screen, 9 times out of 10, they're not Christian. Because if they were, they would be defending the word, and they would be saying the same thing I'm saying, which is what's in the Bible.
Well, but hold on. The Pope is not saying it. Are you saying the Pope is not Christian?
The Pope is about as far from a Christian as I can imagine.
Wow.
If the Pope will sit there and directly tell you something that is clearly said otherwise in the Bible, there are multiple paths to the Father. That is about the most unchristian and unbiblical thing you can say, since Jesus himself said, I am the only way to the Father. So yes, wow. I don't worship the Pope.
I'm not expecting you to worship the Pope, but you're saying basically that he's not even Christian.
He is political. He is a political figurehead, just like any other president of a country is a political figurehead. What he is saying right now and what he is doing is not biblical. It is not. I'm sorry. It's just not. And if you don't want to take my word for it, I encourage anybody, especially the non-Christians, crack open the Bible and see that he says himself, there is only one way to the Father. Period.
Well,
end of discussion.
I'm not very religious, as I say on all of the programs. I don't normally like to go down this path, but hearing so many Republicans use the deity as for why they're defending Israel, it does appear as if now you say it's twisted, I get it, but it does appear as if they believe, and they're leading MAGA.
That's exactly what I needed to hear. That's what I'm trying to say. They are twisting the meaning. Not the public, the government. The governments around the world, including the Pope, twists the meaning of the scripture to fit their narrative. I'm telling you what is written in the Bible. That's 2 different things.
All right.
Crack it open. Hell, use Alexa. Use Google. They'll tell you the same thing.
I'm just surprised about what you said about the Pope, but I got to move it on. Conservative, as always, a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for coming through.
All right. I'm on Clapper, by the way, before you drop me down. On Clapper, we can see one ear and one eyebrow talking.
Oh, well, I have to. It depends on where I'm sitting. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, because one of my YouTubes are like that as well.
All right, support your local liberal.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So moving on with the program, by the way, tap the screen. Certainly going to ask you folks on YouTube, if you will, smash that like button. Why doesn't Israel believe in Jesus Christ? Well, Jesus Christ absolutely believes in Israel, apparently. And what, for folks wondering, why are we talking about fighting for Jesus? It's because of the quotes coming from the Republican Party, some of the elite members of that party. And it just indicates that we're not only at war, or we're not only using military defense, but
those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be blessed. And from my perspective, I
want to rewind it, because he's tying it into when he was a kid.
Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the...
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting a Bible phrase, you don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what, hold on.
So you hear Ted Cruz, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but you hear Ted Cruz saying the same thing Lindsey Graham is saying. So it does appear as if the right believes that they're fighting and they're doing the Lord's work to some degree by defending Israel. And even my last guest, who separated the people of Israel from the government, but understand, folks, the government only gets in place by the will of the people. Israel is a democracy. So Netanyahu doesn't get into power without the will of the people. So understand that. Anyway, looking in the comments, who are the people before 1948? There's a million ways this could go. Certainly, based on what you're saying, is what I'm understanding. Tap the screen, get the likes showing up to 45,000, if you will. We'll take the next caller. Certainly, if you're watching on YouTube, I need you folks to smash that like button. Did start a poll on YouTube as well, and that is, does Jesus require we stand with Israel? So far, the few folks who have voted, far more of you are saying no. But you heard my last guest was pretty strong in his convictions of saying yes. Looking in the comments, the right love to weaponize people's beliefs. The right, he's saying left versus right. The right loves to weaponize people's beliefs. The rest of it moved off the screen. But he's saying the right weaponize their beliefs in their faith. Yikes. Dude, I got to get moving. Says Doomsday. All right, Doomsday, we'll give you a moment before you have to, quote unquote, get moving. Doomsday, good evening.
It's in the Bible 2 places, not just one. What you read was 12:3. Ted Cruz is talking about Genesis 12:3. It's also in Numbers 24:9. And in 24:9, he says to Israel, blessed is he who blesses you, and cursed is he who curses you. And he does not talk about the government. He talks about the people of Israel, which is the government. He's not excluding the government. He's saying, if you curse the nation of Israel with Bibi Netanyahu running it, you are going to be cursed. Plain and simple.
So wouldn't that be...
He doesn't separate the two.
Okay, well... Okay, you said if you curse the nation of Israel. Well, let's say, for instance, Israel is attacked by Hamas or Hezbollah or somebody, and we stand by and do nothing. We're not...
Yeah, that's cursing them.
That's cursing them.
Yes, because they are... You asked whether the Jews had any admonitions from God. Yes.
So then, if what you're saying is accurate, then that means just about the whole world is cursing Israel, because only we're the only...
That's what brings Jesus back. Dude, listen, this is going completely according to plan. This is, you guys think that listen, with a word, Jesus comes back and destroys all of Israel's enemies because he has to.
Well, wait a minute, though. Hold on, wait a minute. There's a difference between an enemy of Israel and somebody who didn't run to the... Hold on, let me finish. No, wait a minute. Let me finish. There is a difference between an enemy of Israel and somebody who didn't run to their aid when they're being attacked. You're saying people who didn't run to their aid is cursed.
No, listen, it doesn't sound any smarter when you complete the sentence. Listen to me. You are against Israel. Many of the people in your audience are...
That has nothing to do with what I just said. Nothing to do at all.
Of course it does. And by the way, you either get your heart right or you will fall with Israel's enemies.
Let me ask you this again, because you're too busy trying to criticize anti-Israelis. What I'm asking you is, let's say when Israel got attacked by Hamas of the Palestinians, Spain, the nation of Spain, did not run to their aid. Does that mean they're cursed?
Again, yes. Anyone that does not try to help Israel, anyone that curses Israel is going to be defeated. Yes.
So that's the whole fucking... So in other words, Jesus...
Yes, Tim,
Jesus is...
Hold
on.
So the plan is...
So the plan is... So the plan is for Jesus to come back, and he's only going to help the United States at this point.
No.
Who else helped?
There are people.
Who else helped Israel? Who else helped Israel?
I just said. Well, look.
Who else helped him?
Tim, he's not going by government.
Who else helped him? I'm just asking. I'm not asking about government. I'm not asking about government. I'm asking a simple question. Who else has helped him so far?
When you talk,
if he's coming, if the plan is what you said for him to come back and do whatever he has to do with the cursed, who right now, other than the United States, government, people, you name it, who else so far has helped Israel?
Tim, he's not. If you are not, you're not part of the government, right?
No.
So you have no control over whether the United States curses or blesses Israel. So he's not. What he is talking about here is, if you are cursing Israel, and you spend a lot of time talking about how you don't want us helping Israel, you are cursing Israel. So he's going to know, all right, Tim, you're part of this group, go with the goats. And he's going to say to me, hey, straight, you go over here with the sheep. This is where you belong, right over here. I'm taking you with me. All of you that are talking about the destruction of Israel and the fact that you don't like the United States helping Israel, you guys are going in a breath. The blood will be to a horse's bridle, according to
Revelation. Everyone, you use me as an example. So everyone like me that does not think America should run and get involved in every Israeli conflict is going to be cursed.
You don't have to pick up a stone. You don't even have to pick up a stone. All you have to do is keep mouthing off about the country of Israel and the people of Israel. All of the people that are talking about not liking the Jewish people, you guys love to couch it with the government of Israel. Who makes up the government of Israel? Palestinians, Jewish people, Christians, all of them are in parliament in Israel. So you are talking about the country. You're talking about the people here. And by the way, they have the law of Rodef. They have the prevention of loss of life. They have harem. They have a duty to act. You ask the question, and none of your numbskull audience happens to know that Israel has all of these commitments that they have to follow to their neighbors.
What I'm amazed with having you follow one of my.
Here we go. You're goddamn retards.
Well, no, he comes with receipts. But what I want to say before I bring him up is, what I'm amazed with is how many folks leaning right and even MAGA that are disagreeing with this stuff. In the comments, Gen X says, that shit you're talking about, he says, that shit is nowhere in the teachings of Christ, of New Testament. Jesus.
I just named it. I just told you where it is.
Okay.
I just told you. So don't say it's nowhere. That's exactly where you can find it.
Mike, put in your request. Mike, I don't see your request. Well, I'm just
by the way, before I go, can I just say this about the ballroom? And you know this. And this is what irritates me so much about you.
Sure.
Here, you know why. There were donors lined up. I named a ton of donors. The money was lined up for this ballroom. And guess what? You guys didn't want private donations funding the White House renovations.
I don't know why.
You got a judge, Richard Leon. Stop. You got a judge, Richard Leon, who ordered a halt to the project. Okay. And the minute that he did that, now it's got to be publicly. It's got to be publicly funded. The Congress has to get in on it. You guys did this to try to stop President Trump. By the way, part of the reason for that is because there are security features that were not present before.
Okay.
That now need to be present.
I want you to listen to this, and I want to ask you something before Mike engages. I want you to hear just a few seconds of President Trump toward the end.
I think the finest, it's about 300 million, approximately 400 million.
You listen to you have to actually listen. You have to actually listen to the. It ain't just for you. Okay, I'll just listen. We got other people watching. I want to play this. Damn it! You can't just jump. You're just rambling. You're just rambling on. You are just rambling. No, you all you're doing is talking. You're not listening. You're just rambling on. We're not having a debate if all you're doing is talking.
Did I just explain why?
You didn't know. That's not how it works. When you talk, you talk and then you go silent and the other person talks. It's just all you at this point. You're not having a debate. You're just rambling. Finish your ramble. Finish your ramble.
I already explained it. I told you why. Because they discovered that when building this East Wing, it needs to have security features. It needs to have safety features that they did not include in the original budget. That is why we are going to have one of the safest places on the planet to host other presidents and other nations.
Okay, now are you ready to listen or do you want to talk some more?
Motherfucker. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He went from 200 to 300 to 400. Now, Lindsey Graham, you're telling me they discovered they need so many safety features. They need about 800 million in safety features?
Yes, and can I name some of those safety features?
Yes, please. Mike.
Okay. I mean, goddamn, dude.
What you're saying sounds stupid. $800 million for something that size?
The project's estimated cost has increased from an initial 200 million to over 400 million. And it has a separate proposed 1 billion in taxpayer-funded security features.
Why the hell was
such as missile-resistant columns that are now being debated in Congress? There is a whole nother level beneath this ballroom that is being used as a situation room. So they took what was once a very simple project, and because the left is so butthurt over losing the presidency to this president, now we are going to have over $1 billion in this project.
Okay, and as Denkel rightfully points out, that is why donors don't need to be involved in national defense construction, and I agree with that. Real quick before we bring Mike, you're still doing it. You've probably talked about 100 to 1 at this point. Let the conversation flow. It can't just be you. In the comments, real quick, JC said Israel is not a democracy because there are millions of Palestinians living under the control of the Israeli government. Now, he's still doing it. I can't even read his comment.
Because he's wrong. I don't like listening to people be fucking wrong.
Okay, hold on. Let me tell you something. During the debate, it is incredibly common for one side to think what the other side is saying is wrong. That's what happens during a debate. If both sides, you absolutely can.
How many Palestinians
you are as bad as, you're worse than the gangster grandma that you talk about.
Without cursing once.
What I'm saying is,
you suck one dick.
Look, what I'm saying is, during the debate, the other side is going to say things you believe is wrong. If all you do is talk over them, and then when they hear you say something that they think is wrong, it's just talking over each other.
For the last 25 minutes to you.
I have not been able to get a sentence out. I'm reading a comment from somebody, and you're talking over that.
Just as ignorant as you are.
But you are ignorant by not allowing the comment to be read. Before I want to hear from Mike, but the way you're interrupting, I don't think you're going to allow him to speak. You're losing control, man.
He's paying.
You're losing control.
Let him speak, okay?
Mike, go ahead, Mike. He's lost control.
That's because he's trying to run, Tim. He was trying to run the whole time. That's why he did that. He was trying to run the whole time because he's a bitch. And yeah, I called you that, and I'm going to call you again because you're a coward. And that's what they say, and they run. They want to just gish gallop with no pushback to get their message out. And there's times when you got to stop that shit because his messaging is dangerous. He has no receipts to prove anything he just said. The bottom line is that he has no receipts, Tim.
Hey, let me just say this for other folks that are watching on the other platforms. What this guy is saying now, Mike is saying now, was absolutely correct. The minute Mike started speaking, he dropped. We don't drop guests. He dropped immediately. So what Mike is saying is correct. He wanted to come on the program and just spew what he felt without any pushback. And then when he was done, he wanted to drop. That's not how a debate works. That's just not how a debate works. That was just rambling where I'm just going to say what I think is right and ignore everybody else. And when I'm done, I'm going to drop. That's not how a debate. He normally ain't like that. He normally is fairly civil, even though we disagree. But that was ridiculous. Go ahead, Mike.
That's because they're running out of room. Now, I want everybody that has heard him speak for at least the last 4 months, particularly since this war started, right? No, you didn't. You dropped because you didn't want to have a debate.
Right. You didn't need to drop. You didn't need to drop.
Because I didn't say a word. So stop that shit. Listen, Tim, since this conflict started, I have never, ever heard him use this faith-based reason why we're over there defending, because if we don't, we're being cursed by the God. And maybe I haven't heard him speak all the time, but on your show, I have never heard him use that as a discussion point. Not never. And now the reason we're there, because biblically speaking, if we don't, the Lord is going to curse all of us. That wasn't the reason why.
Does this not sound like some? Does this not sound like some shit you would hear from Jimmy Baker and Tammy Faye? I mean,
it's absurd. It's absurd because he has moved the goalpost every time for different reasons to fit this narrative, to fit this conspiracy-related narrative that he's speaking to. And again, Jeremy, and it's so funny. Jeremy, I'm going to get to you in a second. And I gave you a compliment the other day too, Jeremy.
A lot of people gave him a compliment the other day. I even got people writing me about him.
I gave you a compliment, but the idea that he can come up, not let the hosts talk, not let the host read comments, not let the host speak about this position, and just tell everybody they're wrong without even letting you finish. Yeah. That's why this.
Yeah, to me, I'll just say, even if he was 100% right, he would have lost all credibility just in the mannerisms of the way he debated. That's not a debate. Well, if I hear something wrong, we're just going to talk over you. Well, during the debate, both sides believe the other side is wrong. So if the process is when you hear something wrong, just talk over the person, then it's a shouting match. And that's what he was trying to engage in, because he really did not want to be challenged. He just wanted to speak.
So he didn't want to have a discussion. What's up, Jeremy? What brings you up?
Honestly, I was trying to get up earlier because of the ridiculous shit that Straight Talk was talking. Like, here's the thing. Like, you and me disagree about almost everything, Mike. But I'll give you this, okay? You actually held your tongue and way longer than I would have. Jesus fucking Christ, Straight Talk. You embarrassed the entire right there.
He's never been like that. I enjoy talking to Straight Talk. He's never been that bad today. He had an absolute crash out. I've never seen it.
Well, the thing I wanted to go after him for was the Bible stuff. Like, I'm agnostic, and I left the Catholic Church because I didn't really know whether I believed in God or not. But I'll be damned if someone lies about them or lies about any faith. Like, if you're going to criticize something, you got to get it right. And if you're going to say something and proclaim something and is on behalf of Christ, get it fucking right. The Bible does not say that the state of Israel, a foreign government, and is what we're obligated to protect. What are you talking about? There's no evidence of that whatsoever.
Well, I will tell you that this is the stuff or the formula of wars, because. And that's why one of the issues I've often said that is, make me question Christianity is that the Bible can be interpreted so many ways, because he believes that. Now, Handsome Conservative, who I brought up first, he believes something a little bit different, but it's still in the same realm. And I can't argue with them. They actually believe that. And that can lead you into war. Now, Conservative was separating the government from the people, but Straight Talk was like, you got to defend all these motherfuckers.
I don't find, and again, Tim, and it's not even, I came up to challenge his position on.
He didn't want to be challenged.
Well, and here's the thing. I'm not going to listen. People's ideologies are their ideologies. It is, again, it's how they apply it.
Go ahead.
And then the application of it in this conversation, again, like I said, and Jeremy, you tell me, maybe I'm wrong. I've heard him speak dozens of times now about this Iran war. I have never, ever heard him say,
"Thank you, Jimmy.
we are obligated by God to be over there."
I haven't heard Trump say that. I've never heard even Trump say something like that.
At home is that there's actually studies that prove that that people, when they voting sometimes actually shapes your opinions more than opinions shape your voting. So once you commit to like a vote, you're more likely to go back and emotionally justify.
That's why I wanted to talk about that, because the problem is, if you're going to get on this platform and hold a position on why we're doing something, then hold your position. But the minute you change the why, I have to question your motivation. And when I start to question your motivation, then I go back to the source of what you're supporting. And when I go back to the source, and the source is this administration, now you know where I'm going with that. I would rather anybody, if you think we should be over there for whatever reason, just hold the line on your position. But don't turn around today and say we're there because of God, when the guy that sent us over there never said we were there because of God. Donald Trump gave us 10 reasons why we're over there, but God wasn't one of them.
Yeah, I've never heard Trump suggest that, we have to defend Israel by what's going on in the Bible. I've never heard him say that, but we've heard Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz say it, and they're close advisors to President Trump. So maybe it's happening behind the scenes.
Well, and again, Tim, and then the other thing he talked about was the ballroom. He put the ballroom on the left. All you did was read Donald Trump's words. Donald Trump said
he didn't want to hear that. He didn't want to hear that.
So now listen. If you take him at his word, what he just told you was the level of incompetency with the organization and the people around him. Who would ever start a major project like that and not understand all the elements that were involved? You don't just find out later that we need a secure facility that's going to cost a fucking $1 billion. Like, that's not a thing. And if that's the case, you got the wrong people working. So I just don't understand why people like Straight Talks and people that support what he's saying don't use the critical thinking. Hey, Jeremy, let me ask you a question. If somebody was doing work on your home and they gave you a quote of $10,000 to renovate a room, right?
Yeah.
And then they came back and said, actually, Jeremy, instead of it being $10,000, it's going to be $100,000.
Oh, I would think that they were linked up with the mob and trying to screw me over and give a few kickbacks to somebody. That's what I would think.
Absolutely. So why would we not think that way about this ballroom?
Well, according to Straight Talk, they suddenly found out you needed some more security. $800 million worth of it.
That's the thing. Trump is actually used to working with mobsters in New York, so I'm not too surprised.
Yeah. And by the way, he changed the bids into no bids. He changed the bids into a no compete bids, which means he could just hand them to who he wants to. You got to question that shit. That sounds sort of mobbish to me. And so let me get this straight. So every other president we've ever had has been unsecure at the White House. Good thing they're building it to defend missiles in this country. Where are missiles coming from within the country, Tim?
Canada.
I mean, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Those Canadians, you got to watch out for those, right?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of things that Trump do. It's a solution in search of a problem. But you're right. America is not under any threat of a direct missile strike to the White House that you need to build a bunker that deep to protect it from. There is no threat of that right now. He's literally, like I said, it's a solution in search of a problem that we have not even heard exist yet. So
let me tell you where that comes from, Tim. If you're not planning to leave and you know the capabilities of your own military that would have to try to remove you from there, you're trying to fortify yourself so you don't have to leave. Now, about 4 or 5 days ago, when Trump was sort of kidding, I'm using my air quotes, kidding, he said, well, in the 7 or 8 years when I'm eventually out of the White House, and everybody kind of laughed, and I'm like, where's the joke in that? Where's the joke in that?
Yeah, that's just scary. And here's the thing. I'm pretty sure the Secret Service isn't going to actually play ball with him on that, because they do have a duty to actually escort former presidents out of the White House when their terms are up.
Well, somebody has to tell them to do that, though, Jeremy. If Congress and all them are just letting him do whatever he wants, they're not going to. You think the Justice Department under Trump is going to order them to escort him out the White House? They're not going to do that. Sunflower, put in your request. I see the thank you, but I didn't see the request. But they're not going to tell them to do it. Just like right now, the 60 days of him being allowed as a president via executive order to start a war has expired. Congress ain't telling him, you got to stop. They're just going to let him do it as long as he wants to.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of conservatives and Republicans out there that are only playing ball because they have to right now, but they really want him out. So like they want him out, but they're like, hey, you're like, kind of like
you believe that?
It's kind of like one of those Roman plays that you see where the protagonist is only loved until he's no longer useful. So I feel like there's going to be some turning on him the second.
While I hope you're right, I've seen nothing to back that up. I mean, they literally let him threaten to commit an act of genocide on Iran, and they left it up to him to find out if he was serious or not. They didn't do anything. Most of them didn't even say shit. They just left it up to him. He said the whole civilization is going to die Tuesday night. And by Tuesday night, most of them hadn't said shit. They were sitting around waiting to see was he going to give the order or was he just joking? They left it up to him.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm still conservative for plenty of reasons. I put my politics separate from the people who proclaim them. But the thing is, I'm so sick of people like Straight Talk not being able to stand up to people like President Trump. He's not going based on his principles. He's not acting on principles that he's proclaimed. And it's time we started asking for people to have integrity. Sure, I'm willing to forgive someone's infidelity if they actually admit that what they did was wrong. I'm willing to even say that in policy, if someone tries something and they genuinely thought it would work and it didn't, and then they say, okay, you know what, that didn't work, we should do something else. Fine. But Trump is an unapologetic narcissist who never admits that he's wrong about anything and says one thing.
But that's why people like him, though, Jeremy. I do got to move it on from you two gentlemen, but that's why people like him is that he is an alpha male. He is unapologetic. He speaks his mind and he don't back down. That's why a lot of people like him. In the comments, Dencal says Trump brought the steel for the ballroom from Europe. I didn't know that. Go ahead.
Wow, couldn't do it. Couldn't even be domestic. Couldn't even build American, right? Fucking goddamn it! Like we have plenty of steel in the United States. For one room in a fucking. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm gonna say this, and then because I just came up because old Cal.
Yeah, I got to move it on. Go ahead, wrap it up.
I'm gonna at the end of the day, and Jeremy. So for those that don't know, me and Jeremy don't agree on very little. But I do.
Jeremy is coming around, though. You're going to be agreeing with more on Jeremy based on his statements. Jeremy coming around fast.
Yeah, but and again, he doesn't. I've never felt he doesn't have to come around and vote the way I vote. I just like when something's in your face, just call a spade.
That's what's happening. That's what's happening. He ain't gonna vote the way you vote. He ain't gonna vote the way you vote, but he can see what you see now.
Yeah, and at least we can have this. You can talk to somebody that at least goes, yeah, that's some bullshit, and it doesn't even have to. But when you get people moving the goalposts and then calling you an idiot like the way he was talking to you, Tim, that's the TDS that he says we all have.
That's what makes Gates and Grandma go fucking crazy. You gentlemen, I gotta move it on. Thanks for coming through. Right. You know what I gotta do. Thank you.
All right, Tim.
All right, appreciate it. I may end up talking to one or two of you guys again. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 60,000 if you will. Stick the ruler, says Duke. I agree. We are commanded. Oh, it's to support Israel's conservative. I see your comment there on Clapper. By the way, folks, I'm going to take time out to ask you to smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube. It helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. This is a MAGA-friendly program. If you're currently watching us live on Instagram, TikTok, Substack, or Clapper, follow the program. Give us a follow. If you're watching us live on YouTube, give your boy a sub. We're here most weekdays. The program is ran as an uncensored format. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Doesn't matter what your political affiliation is. If you're tired of hearing too much shit from the left, come up and be somebody from the right. We don't censor you based on your comments. You can be critical of anybody, including yours truly. Looking in the comments, the people who need to show integrity are taking money from lobbyists. And that ain't going to stop no matter who you put in office, Fiore. That ain't going to, Fiery Hawk or Flory Hawk, that's not going to stop no matter who you put in office. Because the left is going to do that too. The left is absolutely going to do that. And unfortunately, the way our system is set up, it's almost impossible to win if you don't do it. I mean, if you don't get money coming in from big donors, it's, you need commercials, you need ads, you need exposure. If you take a multi-state tour, that costs money. You need to rent buses and planes and all. I mean, all that stuff costs money. You need that money to come from somewhere. That's where a lot of the lobbyists and donors come in. It's hard to run a national campaign if you're not taking money from these folks. Only way you could possibly make that happen, if you wanted to literally take money out of politics, is to allot a certain amount of taxpayer dollars for anybody that could run. Okay, so whoever the Democrat national candidate is, he gets so much in U.S. taxpayer money to run his campaign, and the same for the Republican candidate. But nobody can donate to that candidate. The only money they can use has to come from, I suppose you could do it that way, but then the taxpayers are going to bitch and complain. But if you want to take money out of politics, because they're going to need money, it has to come from somewhere. I once stated that as a condition of having an FCC license, that means a broadcast license on radio, broadcast license on television. I guess you'd have to do it with the internet now, because more people watch the internet than they do television. What do they call it? Traditional television or whatever it's called now. That's phasing out the typical NBC, CBS. So as a condition of owning a station, you have to give each candidate, let's say, 30 minutes of time per day or per week or whatever, per something during campaign season. That way there would be enough free advertising time for the candidates. If you've done that and you allocated some government funds to cover their travel and things like that, you might be able to do it where you can completely ban lobbyists from donating to candidates. But once again, you're going to have a hard time getting the people to agree. And because most laws come by way of Congress, they ain't never going to agree to turn down money coming to them. That's how they leave office significantly wealthier than they came, is that lobbying shit. They want that money because that's their nest egg once they leave. Anyway, looking in the comments here, when life doesn't go your way, joining the MAGA cult is a membership to a free club where you feel superior. What do you say? MAGA's all in their feelings? The people who need to I saw that already, but I don't know about that. But anyway, but that's what Chris, thank you for the response. Chris says, good idea. Yeah, the money would have to come from the taxpayers. And like I said, require radio stations, TV stations, and all of them to give the candidates that are running a certain amount of free airtime. That way they could get their ads and stuff like that out. The newspaper has to give them, give them a page where they can put, nobody reads the newspaper anymore, but the Gen Xers and certainly baby boomers, some of them still do. So you get, or magazine or whatever. That way they would be all over the place and it didn't cost them a fortune. Anyway, looking in the comments, that's fine. Donations can come from other people, but it should not come from foreign countries. That takes it even worse. That takes it to another level when you start letting foreigners donate money. Now you're talking about the potential safety of the country itself. Moving on real quick in regards to that poll, 91 folks have cast their vote so far. Their poll being, does Jesus require we stand with Israel? Only 22% of respondents said yes. 78% of you have said no, Jesus does not require us to stand with Israel. So, but then again, a lot of the country is no longer Christian or loosely associated. If we had not taken bombing key infrastructure off the table, if we hadn't, the war would be over. Well, handsome Johnny, I like that name. Well, the problem is President Trump believes in success through threats. Might is right. So you don't hear from President Trump unless he is threatening you. Do what I say or some bad shit's going to take place. That's just how he operates. That's how he gets back at you, is by making threats. I don't know how you expect Iran to come to the negotiating table when everything you're saying is do this or get bombed. Do that or we're going to attack again. Do this or we kill. Do this or we start bombing again. Have a conversation that doesn't involve a threat. That's what needs to end up happening. Tap the screen, get the likes up to 70,000. We'll go to the next caller. Jesus looks at all the facts. He don't turn a blind eye to something you don't like. Well, we're talking about the notion that President Trump, or not President Trump, but both Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz talked about Jesus requires. But I want you to hear something else. I played this earlier. This is not on it, somewhat on the same topic, but not in regards to the Jesus thing. But I want you to hear this again because a lot of new viewers are watching right now. And I want you to tell me whether or not you believe what Tucker Carlson is saying here is true. And let me get my audio right here. But this is coming from Tucker Carlson. He was recently on Megyn Kelly. He's talking about Israel. Let me know if you think what he is saying here is true.
26 post the midterms, Tucker.
Israel could not sustain a blockade or defend itself for 24 hours without the $1.5 trillion U.S. military backstopping it and enforcing the longstanding defense guarantee that we have with Israel. If that were to go away, Israel would have two choices. It would either suffer elimination or it would use nuclear weapons. So that's where we'd be without the United States government backstopping Israel, period. So anybody...
Yes or no in the comments. Do you agree with Tucker Carlson that Israel could not survive without America backstopping its military with a 1.5 trillion from us? 1.5 trillion, you hear Tucker Carlson say. Yes or no? Do you think what Tucker Carlson is saying is true? That Israel is essentially helpless militarily without us backstopping them. Sunflower, good evening. Welcome to the program. I saw you trying to come up, but I didn't see you in the request box. But good evening to you.
Yeah, I put the request in, but then for some reason it reset. It might have been because I accidentally swiped in and out.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
do you agree with the likes of Tucker Carlson that Israel would essentially be powerless without the serious aid of the United States? 1.5 trillion, you hear him say.
if we're supporting their military with our funds, then absolutely, right? Because if our funds are paying for their weaponry, then yes.
Do you support us doing that?
I support us supporting other countries all the time because being former military, I have to know that, hey, our men and women have places to be safe, right? So to the extent, no. I think that some support, yes. I think to the extent we're supporting, not as much.
Do you agree with Trump? You mentioned in other countries. Do you agree with Trump that NATO has essentially been useless? They've done nothing for us?
Actually, the only time we were using NATO, the U.S. has done it. So, no. He talks, as usual, out of his ass, as always. They're using religion to manipulate people because most religious people, when you tell them this is God's plan, they shut up and stop asking questions. I mean, the whole idea of church is just to listen, hear, don't ask questions, don't be inquisitive, just do as you're told attitude when it comes to religion. So when they get on the screens and they tell everybody, oh, this is in the name of God, oh, this is God's will, God's word, people stop questioning. And that's what they want people to do. They want them to stop questioning what's going on. Why is this going on?
So then it's almost kind of like what I'm saying. We're fighting for Jesus almost. I mean, we're just, based on what you're saying, they're almost as if they're blindly doing this based on what they believe the deity is requesting. So it's kind of like fighting for Jesus, is it not?
Not fighting for Jesus per se. They're being manipulated to believe they are.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's not accurate that they're fighting for Jesus, but they think they're fighting for Jesus. Yes,
because they're being told to, and they're in a position of don't question, just listen, That's a problem because, all right, I'm not the most religious person. I can't quote the Bible front and back or whatever. But when they talk about things about, supporting Israel and stuff like that, and about the people versus the people in charge, in the Bible, it does talk about good and bad leaders of Israel. It talks about what's expected of a good leader, and the person in charge doesn't fit what the Bible's own definition is.
Wow. Now, we did have a guest up here. He was somewhat belligerent, talking about straight talk. But
I was here.
Yeah, he did say this appears in Genesis 12:3 and Numbers 24:9. I don't know if anybody looked up either of those books and found those verses, but he did claim that this whole must defend Israel notion is in there. So he claims it's in there.
So The biggest thing when you come to the Bible talk is everybody's interpretation. I mean, you can even Google it 7 ways from sideways, and everything is about who interpreted it, who read it. We can have a book club and read, The Secret Garden. Your takeaway and my takeaway is going to be 2 different things, right? So interpretation is so big when it comes to this. But when you look at the hard things that are hard to interpret, as like what a good leader is, when they're very specific about those things, and those leaders don't fit those things. It's not interpretation. Like those are like real things written within inside the Bible. Like one of the things it says like avoiding excess, not accumulating excess wealth, right? Mm-hmm. Military power. Like you're not supposed to have excess military power in the Bible to be considered a good leader. These are not things that are interpreted. These are things that are written. However, when it comes to the protection of Israel, it is an interpretation because people did move.
So what you're saying is we're picking and choosing which parts we think we're going to follow.
Oh, always. Religion always does that from the they pick and cherry pick from the Bible all the time to serve an agenda, and that's why I call it more manipulation than about anything else.
Yeah, and I will say this while we're talking. I got on News Nation on the big screen behind all of this stuff, and this is listed on the ticker as breaking news. It says CENTCOM says that U.S. destroyers have been targeted in the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran ain't playing. I thought we had decimated everything they had. They're going at who the fuck takes on a destroyer? They're taking on destroyers. Wow. Go ahead.
It's crazy. They're constantly delivering us false narrative about what's going on, right? So another thing too, they talk about as far as like protection and stuff like that. Like they weren't actively being attacked for us to be doing what we're doing.
Do you think it was a justified? Do you agree with Trump though that they were on the cusp of developing a nuclear weapon? They were only a week away. Had they developed it, they were going to use it on us. Do you agree with him?
No, because if I listened to his words the weeks before, he annihilated all their nuclear power. So which one is it? So no, I don't believe so. And Israel's been claiming that for the last
30
few decades.
30. I got video going back to 94. I got video going back to Netanyahu saying that in 94. So yeah.
Exactly. So the way they're talking, they should have a whole arsenal of nuclear weapons at this point, right? But it's not about that. It's about control. It has nothing to do about nuclear weapons. It has nothing to do about any of that. It's about control.
Explain that. What do you mean? Explain
the
that.
Region.
Oh, controlling the region.
Mm-hmm.
So you believe America wants to control the Iranian theater, that region over there?
Yeah. You look at when they were talking about building hotels and building in Gaza, they want just control. They want the supplies, the resources, and they want to say, jump, you say how high attitude, we want this, give us that. It's a
now you're saying this, you're a veteran, am I correct?
Correct.
Wow. So do you think we're the good guys?
I don't think there's good guys in war. With that being said, there are times where we step up and do the right thing, but I believe we need to also admit to the times we're not doing the right thing.
Are we in those times now where you're suggesting
when we're
we may not be
blowing up children in school? Yes. We're in the times where we are not the good guys.
Trump says the school bombing was likely done by Iran.
Yeah, Trump says a lot of shit, but hey,
I mean, he did say that. He did say he was saying it in front of Pete Hegseth, oddly enough, did not agree with that. But Trump did say it looks like, based on what he's seen, Iran did that. I don't know where he's seen it because Hegseth would have showed it to him.
Yeah, so you know what? Even coming down to this, I'm going to bring it back to this ballroom, right? Just the idea of how unprepared our president is for everything. He didn't prepare for the strait being closed, even though all the experts told him that crap was going to happen.
I don't get that. I don't understand that. How they didn't prepare for that.
Look, they knocked down the White House with no actual plan. They gutted Medicare and all of our medical insurances without no plans. They destroy without building. They have no plans to build before they destroy. So we got the part of the White House history knocked down with no actual plans. Oh, we just discovered we need this. How stupid are the people you're hiring? That means how stupid are you?
Well, I guess in giving Trump credit, I guess he felt if we tear it down, they're gonna have to allot money for us to build it. So just even though we don't have, just go ahead and tear it down, because once it's down, it's got to be rebuilt. So that might be why he rushed to tear it down.
Plan.
Huh?
But that's moving without a plan. He went the I'll ask for forgiveness versus permission attitude, right?
That does work.
But that's not what a leader is supposed to do.
Well, I mean,
that might have been his plan and in his personal businesses. That is not what a leader is supposed to do.
He's a different type of leader, some might suggest.
He's not really a leader. He's a person that's in place because people were tired of politics, and Democrats allowed that to happen because we as Democrats have screwed up a lot of things when we promise things to people. We also try to pander to way too many people. So we screwed ourselves a lot, and we're part of the biggest reasons he's in power.
Have the Democrats, if you're suggesting that Trump is there because the Democrats made a bunch of mistakes, and thank you for the hat mustache there, Alter Ego. Some of you folks show the program some love. Thank you, Alter Ego. A few of you guys are. But let me ask you that if the Democrats, their actions, their mistakes led to Trump becoming president, the question I want to ask is, have they learned from their mistakes?
No.
So can we say Marco Rubio 2028 or JD Vance 2028?
No, I think when we get into these elections, because I feel like they're trying to pander to us all the time. What do we think they want, right? They're not actually truly listening to us. And to me, that is like the biggest problem. It's why we're in the position that we're in. They're hiring all these people to tell them what the people want, and these people don't actually talk to us, right? Okay. They don't actually really get down into the nitty-gritty of what's important to us. Oh, don't say this, you'll offend this person. Don't do that, you'll get this. And then we're offending 50,000 more people because we're trying to juggle too many things at once. And they're still doing that.
But I'm really shocked that you as a Democrat, you lean left, right?
Yes,
okay.
I'm a Democrat.
I'm really shocked that you would say that as far to the right as President Trump is, as unpopular as President Trump is with folks on the left and even a lot of independents now, that the Democrats have still not got their A game in place to feel like a comfortable replacement. That folks will still look at the Democrats like you haven't gotten your act together. What do you believe the Democrats need to do?
I think they need to stop with they need to get Congress in order, number one. Number one, they need Congress to change their tunes and not always be on the attack side of things, right?
Go low, go high? Are you quoting Michelle Obama when they go low, we go high?
No. They go low, punch them in the gut. But listen.
That sounds like attacking.
But the problem is that all they are is talk, right? They're not showing us anything. They're not doing anything, right? They're like, oh, this is bad, and that we should be doing this and whatever, but they're not really like delivering the plans or even discussing them to the point that makes sense to us. Like, okay, we're going to impeach Trump. Well, what does that look like? What's the timeline on something? What's the timeline on something like that? Like, if we get control of Congress, like they don't talk.
So they're
to
moving
us.
without a plan. Just they're doing exactly what you just gave, the criticism you gave Trump about tearing things down and doing things without a plan. You're sounding like you're saying the Democrats are doing the same thing. And Handsome Johnny in the comments kind of agrees with you, apparently. He says Demo rats, deliberate misspelling, but instead of Democrats, Demo rats have no principles. People got sick of it. Now, he's critical of the Democrat Party, but you kind of sound like you're saying the same thing without the Demo rats part.
So, all right. The idea that everybody has to believe the way a Democrat believes is wrong, right? We have to acknowledge that conservatives have their values different than how we believe. And to tell them that you need to just give up on everything is not, to me, an equal age to look at everything, right? You need somebody who represents both parties, and you can't make everybody happy in the Democratic Party. And the idea that we all of us voters were like, no, you have to make this group happy and that group happy and this group happy, because the Democrat is full, a smorgasbord of different groups with different beliefs, where the conservatives, they stand behind each other no matter what.
Well,
we don't do that as the Democratic Party.
It's not as easy to do. It's considerably harder to be a Democrat politician.
But we have to acknowledge the amount of people who voted for Trump, what they were upset about. And we have to acknowledge, even if we don't agree with certain things, that we have to find a common pathway to work together. For the benefit of the country.
So you want to reach across the aisle to MAGA?
You have to. You can't reach to MAGA, to Republicans. Let me rephrase.
Why can't you reach to MAGA? Why can't you reach across the aisle to MAGA? MAGA needs some love. My beloved MAGA is waiting for your hand.
MAGA's unrealistic.
How is MAGA unrealistic?
MAGA will bend things. They will support, we care about our freedom of speech. We care about America first. We care about the Bible. We care about everything, unless he steps on it. And then they're like, well, it was okay for him to step on it.
So MAGA's following Trump.
Yeah. So MAGA is different than your actual true conservative Republican and what their values are as Republicans, right? MAGA will just bend themselves to the will of Trump.
Well, what happens last question before I move it on. Now, you say MAGA will bend themselves to the will of Trump. Now, understand Trump turns 80, I think, in November. What happens to MAGA once Trump is no longer around?
They'll lose their shit. No matter what he dies from, it's going to be, we did it, the Democrats' fault. You could have a massive heart attack at 101, and it will be the Democrats' fault that he died.
I actually believe that. No matter when Trump passes away, it's going to be some conspiracies around it. Dude be like 90 years old when they say he poisoned his oatmeal or something like that.
So one of the things you have to be afraid of is what's behind him, right? Because the people who are puppeting Trump are laying the groundwork for a movement outside of even the conservative way. Stuff that the conservatives don't believe in. And then you're getting your evangelical Christian.
You're talking far right stuff.
Correct.
So
that's
pretty obvious. I think we can see that happening under Trump. I got to move it on, Sunflower, but I do agree with the fact that the country is going pretty far to the right at this point.
Well, thank you for having me up as always. Your shows are awesome.
Appreciate it. You're an awesome caller. Thank you. Tap the screen. Get us on up to 95,000. Let your thumbs not be lazy. We can make that happen. If you're watching us on Instagram, TikTok, Substack, or Instagram, TikTok, Substack. I'm kind of forgetting my damn platforms here. And Clapper, follow the program. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a sub. We're here most weekdays. She definitely was an awesome caller, says Dwayne. Thank you, Dwayne. Happy birthday, David Alterborough, 100th. You are a legend. Wow. Like I said, against Kamala Harris, Ronald McDonald could have taken and ran and won. That ain't true. I don't agree with that. I don't think Kamala Harris was the best candidate, but President Trump has a lot of detractors. I think probably at least 20% to maybe as many as half, 20 to 50%. I'm just guessing. I'm just speculating. Marty Marr, I'm thanking you for the hat and mustache. Thank you. I'd say between 20 and 50% of Kamala Harris votes were anti-Trump votes. So when you say that even Ronald McDonald could have ran against Kamala Harris and won, I'm here to tell you that there's a lot of anti-Trump sentiment. That I do believe a chunk of Kamala Harris votes were not for Kamala Harris. It was just people that really, really dislike Trump. I mean, there's a lot of folks that don't like Trump. She was the best caller you had so far tonight. Well, it was peaceful, and I definitely enjoyed her. Looking in the comments, they're just happy they finally have a racist bigot in office. Damn. Who said that? Why are you saying that the president is a racist bigot? Coming from Garrett Thomas. That's harsh language, Thomas. That's harsh. That's really harsh. Tap the screen, get the likes on up before we... Oops, I didn't mean to hit that. Before we go on to the next caller. By the way, I'm going to change that poll. And I want to make sure I get all. Okay, so far the poll is at, does Jesus require we stand with Israel? 28% of you, almost 200 votes, almost 200, 170 something. 28% of you said yes, Jesus requires we stand with Israel. 72% says no. So there is plenty of people who do believe that Jesus requires us to stand by Israel. Looking in the comments, we'll go back to the box shortly. Tap the screen, get us up to 95,000. We'll take the next caller at that. Trump is going to be remembered like Confederate people are going to cosplay. I believe there's some validity to that. I do believe the MAGA movement will live on after Trump, but it will be a controversial movement unless the direction of the Trump administration changes significantly. I do believe the future of the MAGA hat will still be there, but it will be the MAGA hat will be a statement. It's a statement now. It's already a statement. You show up at a concert with a MAGA hat on, or you show up at a restaurant with a MAGA hat on. It's a statement. It tells you a lot about the person. Now, showing up with a Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris hat tells you also about a person, but it's not as strong. It's not as strong of a statement. Showing up with a MAGA hat on you have an aura of light floating around you. It's a strong, strong statement. You can show up in a deeply red area wearing a Kamala Harris or Biden or Gavin Newsom hat, and it's not going to be the same as showing up in a deeply blue area with a MAGA hat on. It's different. It is definitely different. Read your Bible. Our biblical obligation ended with Christ's death. Oh, first I've heard that. This guy got a whole bunch of Trump shit on the wall. What the fuck? Well, I'll explain the wall before I go. Are we at 95,000? We're at 95,000. We'll explain it next. Going back to the box. Somebody says fix the audio on TikTok. Are we having audio issues? Somebody let me know. If so, state your case. Daniel Gutierrez. Good evening, Daniel. Let me know if you guys having any audio trouble on TikTok. Everybody else seems to be okay. They said they hear me fine, so I guess just one guest is having issues on his side, and I guess he's trying to say the audio's over here. Trump will still rule outside of the White House. I believe that, Michael. He won't be as powerful as he is outside of the White House, but there are going to be people who are going to look to Trump for guidance for the rest of his life. Trump is the kind of guy that could be behind bars, and there would be people willing to show up if he was allowed to get visitors. Or there's going to be people that look to him for guidance. Now, yeah, that's absolutely going to happen. He will still rule some folks even once he's out of office. Continuing on, Trump old ass is going to jail. I don't think Trump's ever going to do a day in jail. I don't believe that's going to happen. Let's go back to the box. We'll make it happen with Miss Mo Betta. Good evening, Miss Mo Betta. By the way, folks, help your boy out with the TikTok cap and hat mustache goals. Very low here, but some folks have showed some love. Show some love to the program. Miss Mo Betta, good evening.
Hi, Tim.
Hey.
How you doing?
I don't know. God is telling me I'm going to go to hell because of Israel.
Lord, let's. What I would like to say to that is, people, if you don't know what you're talking about when you get up here, as far as the Bible and stuff go, to leave that alone. We already know straight talk. Got up here talking as crooked as two left shoes. Pizza lover, shut up. Go scratch and sniff.
Yeah, he called you Miss Know Nothing as opposed to Miss.
He's always hanging off my nipples when I get on here. He's always hanging on the nipple.
Oh,
like God.
He likes the chocolate. I don't know. Send the man a Hershey's Kiss for once. I think that's what it.
My nipples, but the thing is, people need to leave that subject alone, because do you know how many different versions of the Bibles and stuff is? Do we know? And if you're not sitting down studying, meditating, and all of that stuff, leave it alone. Don't even enter into that realm. And that's just why politics and religion are supposed to be separate.
Well, if politics and religion are separate, how do you respond to? I think it was a conservative who indicated that even the Pope is mixing politics and religion, and he suggested that the Pope is acting in non-Christian ways. I think he indicated that the Pope is not very Christian-like.
Well, that's because the Pope, they're supposed to check people when they're wrong. I don't care what position they're in. They don't like it because he checked Trump's ass. Anybody that goes against Trump, they're a bunch of loyalists. What do you expect them? How you expect them to respond?
Well, I don't think now straight talk. Yes, I don't think Trump. I don't think handsome conservative is a loyalist, but he did say the Pope is not acting very Christian. Before we continue, Evil B Babu says, Tim, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. No mess ups, no crap today. You need to get your TikTok and YouTube back in shape. What happened? And make it working. Also, let Sunflower know she is beautifully intelligent and extremely gorgeous. Wow, Sunflower. Are you having any issues seeing me on TikTok?
No, we can hear you fine. We hear and see you fine. So people that are struggling to hear you, they need to go out and come back in. So sometimes it's their stuff, because that happened to me a couple of times too. Like, I can't hear, but you go out and come back in, you should be able to hear.
Okay, well, as you hear her state, folks, if you're watching, if you're having any audio issues, try logging out and coming back in, I suppose. Go ahead.
But it's like, again, anybody that talks against Donald Trump, and then they try to equate Christianity, like she was saying earlier, they use that to demonize people and for fear. They use Christianity for fear, to pump fear into people, because you already know once people are afraid, they're gonna tuck their tail and hide. We're not gonna challenge that because God said, and a lot of that, most of that stuff they talk about is the furthest away from God. And this is how you know that people are not sitting down reading the Bible or trying to get the correct understanding if they are reading it.
So your belief, and thank you, conservative said he can hear me just fine on Clapper. So your belief is that there's nothing in the Bible that suggests we must stand by Israel or be cursed by God.
See, the thing is that the Israel that people keep referring to, whether that was a long time ago before God actually dismantled the people from Israel, true Israelites. Those are not the ones that are occupying Israel. Is not real now. Those are not true Israelites. Those are people that infiltrated. They're infiltrators. So this is why it's so chaotic over there. People don't even know why God dismantled Israel. And like one of the guys was saying in there, when he's talking about Israel now, he's talking about the church. He's not even talking about Israel, the land. So that's what I'm saying. If you don't know what you're talking about, you need to go and really sit down and study this stuff. This is not some one sentence answer. It's not a one sentence answer. You got to go and do a whole lot of research of who the true Israelites is and all kinds of stuff before you even get into that discussion.
Yeah, that's and I'm going to plead ignorance myself because I definitely don't know enough to have the argument, which is why I came here posing the question. But real quick, Celeste Phillips says, I don't think this is live. Celeste, I assure you it is. I'm reading your comments. But I mean, so
then they talk about Christianity, about do they know what it is to even be a true Christian? Because if they did, they're doing everything opposite for what a Christ would do.
To me, go ahead.
The whole opposite. They don't want to feed their neighbors. They don't want to feed the poor. They don't want to do any of that stuff. And y'all want to talk about being Christians? You're protecting. Y'all protecting P3DOs. You don't want to expose people, but you're a Christian.
That's a good point. When you're against entitlement programs, you got Charlie Kirk talking about kids shouldn't get free lunches in schools and shit like that. Like, can you really have that anti-humanity mindset while talking about you're a Christian? I mean, that is a good point. I mean,
no, absolutely not. That's not. It's the total opposite of what Jesus would have stood for. And so that's what, when we're getting into this, people do, they pick and choose which part of the Bible that they want to highlight because it fits their narrative. Like they'll say, okay, thou shalt not, you shall honor your mother and your father, the day should be longer, but you got to keep reading. The mother and the father are not supposed to tempt their children to sin against them either. So let's not just let's get to one point and stop because it sounds good. It makes me look good.
Yeah, President Trump was just talking about annihilating the whole civilization the other day. It's like, is that really religious? I mean, so
wiping them out. They try. How is that any type of Christian? Even though he never really claimed to be a Christian, so I'm not gonna just say that because he already said he don't even think
he has said he has become a newly reformed Catholic and super evil. Thank you for the confetti. I appreciate that. But no, he has said he's found Catholicism recently. Trump has said that.
Okay, but see, that's religion. That's a difference. There's difference in Christianity and religion, spirituality and religion. Religion is man-made, and that's why there's so many different entities and different things coming on because men themselves made that. God did not make religion.
Well, in the comments, Tada, I think it says Tada says Trump is a Christian. So some folks do believe the man is Christian. You know, when I went to the Trump rally, I went to 2 Trump rallies, but when I went to one of them, I had one of the Trump supporters I was in line with tell me that Trump was sent by God to govern this great nation.
So who was everybody else sent by? If only he was sent by God, who was everybody else sent by? I hate when they say that. That's just dumb. It's asinine.
Well,
it really is. It's asinine. But like I told you, Tim, before, and I'll say it again, when Satan was kicked out of heaven because he wanted to be like the Most High, he took a third of the angels with him. How many people in this country voted for him? A third of the country voted for him.
No, that's not true. A third of the country is likely MAGA, but he received a lot of.
And they voted for who?
MAGA voted for Trump, but he also received a lot of independents and even some reformed Democrats. He couldn't have won with only a third of the votes, Mr. Mobetta.
He still got 77 million votes. That's a third of the country, ain't it?
Well, the whole country don't vote. The whole country does not vote.
I know that because a third of them voted for him, a third didn't vote, and the other Kamala got the other vote. So
well,
what do we do?
What I'm saying is, I think what did Trump get? 77 million or something like that.
He got 77 and she got 75.
Right. So we're talking about 150 some odd million people in the country. There's like 400 million people. So
300 million.
Yeah. So 300 and some million people. So that obviously some of them are babies and things like that. But
some people just didn't vote.
Right.
But again, he got some of those votes. So let's not forget what we're talking about. The numbers might be off a little bit, but the sentiment isn't.
Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I'm just simply saying he needed more than a third of the votes to win. I mean, he needed a lot more than that because, I mean, he obviously got more than half because he beat Kamala Harris.
Well, hey, and like I said, Satan got kicked out.
So you don't think President Trump is a Christian?
Absolutely not.
Why you say that?
He wouldn't even put his hand on the Bible when he got sworn in.
He did.
He was scared it was gonna set on fire if he had put his hand on that Bible.
He did it the first time, though. The first time he was inaugurated, he did it.
He had people in line. He had people and behind him to keep his ass checked. But now there's no checks and balances anywhere in this regime. None. Not with Congress, not with the Senate, none. They are Supreme Court. They all allow him to do what he want to do.
He's a boss. He's a boss like no other, Miss Milbetta. He is a boss.
Yeah, okay. So was Al Capone, huh?
I mean, you comparing Trump. Well, listen, there are a lot. It's funny to hear you comparing Trump to Al Capone, but he does govern like a mobster. He absolutely does govern like a guy who.
That's his whole thing. He has mobster tendencies. That's all I'm saying. That's all I see. You know what I'm saying? Because here you talking about making a deal and still threaten people. How is that making the deal? How do you listen? When it comes to those people in Iran, they unalive for less.
But I think that's what I think. The governing like a mobster mentality is something that MAGA likes, wanted, and favors. Like we need these liberals these liberals are getting out of control. We need somebody that's going to rein them in and do it by any means necessary, which he has done that.
Well, and that's just that's why he get the response he gets from people too. Then you get up there and cry when people get up there and call you an orange little bitch. Oh,
that's disrespectful to call the president a. That is disrespectful to call the president a bitch.
Respect is earned. Respect is earned, not just given. Sorry. He set the precedent. He opens that door. This shit writes itself, Tim. Go read his True Social, how he treats people, what he talks about people, how he's treating people, not just here, but around the world.
Well, it ain't like he didn't make it clear what he was going to do, and we still voted him in. I mean, Trump televised.
They voted him in. I had nothing to do with that vote, and I will not take any parts or any kind of accountability for that. Absolutely not.
But
you might.
You're part of this great nation. Trump televised to the nation how he was going to govern, and this nation voted him in. So he said
he was going to get up there and go boom boom schools with girl schools. Did he get in there and say that he was going to boom boom votes? Did he get in there and say he was going to dismantle every department that there was, and people, hundreds of thousands of people lose their jobs? Did he say any of that stuff?
Well,
no.
Wait a minute.
The only thing that he stuck to his word is, according to you, is the border.
But some of the stuff he boom boom it might have been for the good of the country. Okay, the girls' school they got boom boom. The girls' school they got boom boom. He says Iran did it. The Venezuelan boats. He was stopping narcotics.
Can he prove any of that stuff? And nobody. And this is where the problem is, because none of his constituents on his side. You had top generals and stuff quit because they didn't want no parts of that fucker.
Well, I mean, we won't know that until they call to testify after Trump is gone.
He says to be true. He said people was eating cats and dogs and shit like that.
Well, how about this in the comments? Because we're talking about him replacing the Democrats. In the comments, Deke8010 says, I wanted an end to the American apology tour. So the Democrats were going around apologizing. We wanted a man that was going to be in there, an alpha male that wasn't going to apologize or take shit off of anybody. How about this is what I'm hearing. What say you?
And you know what the dumb part of that is? Because we're paying for this shit. They're denying that the gas is at an all-time high right now, and that groceries are up. People can't afford to get cars, houses and shit like that. Some people without health insurance and stuff like that. So what are they really saying? Oh, you like a bully? That means you're a pussy. How about that?
But what about the notion that, listen, right now, economically, things aren't the best. Gas prices are a little bit higher than we would like, but at the end of the day, we're stopping a rogue nation from obtaining a nuclear weapon that they were going to use on us. Do you not feel safer because of what's happened?
No, it's worse off now. It's worse off now because you went over there picking with these people that was over there doing what they do. Whatever they had going on with is not real. Let them handle their own shit. You understand? We was over here minding our business. You understand what I'm saying? We inserted ourselves in something that we didn't have to. So with us when we had high gas prices under the Biden regime, that's because we had a global pandemic. It was all over the world. When the stuff we have now, it was unnecessary. It's unnecessary. We don't have to have gas prices. They choose because he feels that I'm the top dog. I'm gonna get this done. He said he was gonna end wars in day one or some shit like that. What he said he was gonna do?
He said he was gonna end the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours.
Even with the Russia-Ukraine war going on, it didn't cost us no gas. It didn't. All our groceries and shit wasn't going up. Now again, he inserted us into a war that had nothing to do with us.
Well, I mean, depends on who you ask. Mr. Mobetta, I do got to move it on, but they were saying death to America for the last 47 years. Some are going to say we had to do something.
They full of shit too. Those are the people that don't believe that there was a party switch too. Those are those people. And and that's why people can't get down with them.
Fair enough. Mr. Mobetta, always a pleasure. Thank you. Tap the screen. You know what I'm asking. Get us up to 115,000. Some of you folks have been showing the program some love with the tapping of the screen. Even a few had mustache TikTok caps have came in. Just a few. But thank you for your support, the few who have. In the comments, Evil B by Boo says Trump doesn't believe in God. Damn. Because he wouldn't, wait a minute, you said Trump doesn't believe in God because he wouldn't want God, and God says, you down shall not have any gods before, thou shalt not have any gods before me. Trump is too stupid to realize that. Well, Trump did post a picture of himself, but he said that was an image of him as a physician. I know some folks believe that it portrayed him as the deity, but I mean, sometimes you go to the doctor and the doctor's hands light up, don't they? I mean, there's got to be a few hospitals or medical institutions out there where the guy dresses in white with a red cloth. One or two. Got to be some type of St. Mary's or something out there somewhere, right? Haven't seen it. That's not the typical medical gear that I've seen before. I'm used to seeing more of like a stethoscope and blood pressure cuffs and stuff like that. I've never seen a doctor take your vitals by hand, but this is a special kind of president, so maybe he has a few additional powers. A physician with Cowboy says a physician with magical powers coming out of his hand. Oh yeah, Tim, sure. Well, he is turning the country around. He shut the border down. He's getting the LGBTQ stuff under control. Look, it's a tough job, but somebody has to do it, and maybe that has caused a little bit more light to emit from his hands. He's healing America. How about that? The Healing America tour. Tim, how are you not talking about Saudi Arabia and Kuwait suspending America's airspace? Because I wasn't aware of that. Is that true? They sure are late to the ball game. I'll tell you this, and I almost ended up doing that as one of the topics on the live. Because you're hearing folks on the right chastise Iran for the bombing of places like some of our bases and even some of the energy fields in Bahrain and Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, UAE, and all of these. And folks are saying that Iran is going to draw other people into the war because they're turning into a rogue nation by bombing all these places. I want to throw an example at you. Let's suggest one of our arch enemies, China, Russia, you take your pick. They came to launch an attack on our soil. They were attacking places in America, Jacksonville, the New Orleans. They're striking targets in America. And they have a friendly relationship with countries that are near us. Bahamas, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Bermuda. And they're using those countries that they have a friendship with to launch attacks from those countries because they're much closer to us than having to come all the way from Russia or Shanghai somewhere. So the question I'm asking is, if neighboring countries to America was allowing our enemy to launch attacks on America from their soil, is there any chance we would do the same thing that Iran is doing, which is attack the countries that are aligning with our enemies? Would we allow those countries to let's say Cuba allowed Russia to, use one of their airstrips, and they're packing this with MiGs, they're packing it with Russian aircraft, and they're launching attacks from Cuba throughout the Sunshine State of Florida and Georgia. Would we allow Cuba to be untouched because we're not at war with Cuba, we're at war with Russia? Russia's just using their airspace, using their territory to launch attacks. Will we just let that happen? Because I'm going to submit to you, I believe we're criticizing Iran for doing what we would do in the same circumstance. We would go just as ballistic on our neighbors if they were all allowing our enemy to use their territory to launch attacks on us. And for the folks who suggest that Iran's going to spread the war by doing that, in my opinion, once you started letting them use your airspace and your bases to launch attacks, you kind of in the fight anyway. The war is already expanded. But we do seem to have the belief that as long as Bahrain or Kuwait is not attacking us directly, them allowing us to launch attacks from their sovereign territory excludes them from being in the war. That makes no sense to me. You're going to tell me you can fly over Iraq with whatever aircraft, whatever ordnance you're using, not Iraq, Iran. You can fly over Iran with whatever you came to bomb them with. And then you can land back in Bahrain or Kuwait somewhere. And you don't expect to be hit because now you're in Bahrain or Kuwait? You can only be hit when you're flying over Iran? Are you crazy? That makes no sense. You launch an attack on America, you're fair game no matter where you land at. I don't understand why we're expecting Iran to have a different mindset of that. So it sounds great to criticize Iran for attacking its neighbors. I guess to some it even makes logical sense to them, but we would do the exact same thing. There's no way you're going to come and hit targets in America and land in Cuba and say that, well, you're not at war with Cuba, so you can't attack me. Bullshit. We're going to have B-1s or B-whatevers dropping bombs right on Cuba. And some of them may miss your aircraft and hit people in Havana. We're going to show them if you cooperate with our enemy, you are going to become our enemy. Didn't George Bush say that after September 11th? That if you don't stand with America, you're against us or something like that? He said the very same thing. So I do believe we're criticizing Iran for doing exactly what we would do. King Finn says, yeah, but that's MAGA's reasoning. I think that's America's reasoning. I think there are plenty of Americans that are not identifying as MAGA that also think Iran is wrong for attacking its neighbors. Which is also probably why somebody in the comments has said Saudi Arabia and Kuwait is no longer letting us use their airspace. Yeah, because you're getting us attacked and you're not defending it properly. Now that we don't side it with you, we're getting hit. Your country is hundreds, thousands of miles away. They can't hit your country, but you done brought this shit over here and landed in Ireland. So they hitting us instead. And you're not stopping us from getting hit. Maybe it's time we take this shit back to Florida somewhere. Launch those attacks from Key West. But we can't have you launching this stuff from our country and then you bringing this drama home. It's like, you're out in the street pulling capers and you're living at your mama's house. And your mama tell, look, I got nothing but love for you as my son, but you bringing this dirt you doing out in the street home here. They don't came and shot up your mama's house. You gotta move. That's what's happening here. Is that you out in the street doing dirt, and now the dirt done came back to your house and your mama's complaining. So looking in the comments though, within an hour today, I heard UAE told USA no flyovers, no landing jets. Iran ain't playing, are they? Iran is turning out to be a handful. Iran is really turning out to be a handful. It's like trying to steal an old lady's purse and finding out she don't got trained in jujitsu. She in the alley kicking the guy's ass like, damn, she was not the right victim. Iran is turning out to be a handful. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 25,000. Well, the Bible says that every nation would turn against Israel. Is that true? Really? Think about how much money UAE has lost. All of those countries and they're going to be, they likely may be enemies with the Iranians for a while because they sided with America and Israel. They may be enemies to other nations in that region too that doesn't like Israel. My guess is the Houthis in Yemen, Hezbollah to the north of Israel, they probably don't like those nations either. It's kind of like you sided with the enemy. Looking in the comments, good show, really, really good show. Thank you, Conservative. I appreciate that. It means a lot coming from you, sir. Thank you. Let me go back to the box. We'll make it happen on Instagram with the one and only Dencal. Dencal, good evening. Welcome to the program. Did you hear about the loss of airspace?
Yeah, I just heard about it and I looked it up and I was just reading about it and Saudi Arabia was the one I heard about first, and they're saying basically they got pissed off when Trump came out with this Operation Project Freedom, which Saudi Arabia wants the straits open so they can move their product. So how does their ally come and say, "Oh, you got it closed, so we gonna close it too"?
Well, the problem is Trump is doing shit without consulting with people. He hasn't consulted with any allies. He didn't consult with NATO, and now these allies he have in the Middle East, he's doing shit without consulting with them either.
Right. That's why the
fix this shit? I mean, can we fix it while Trump is still president?
No. There will never be a solidified deal for what Trump is asking them for. All of them, remember, we had the inspectors all over the country. They gave up all of they reserved uranium and all of that stuff. With this president, we will never get them to capitulate on that and give that back. So all of this long-term stuff that they talking about, well, it's going to be a short-term problem. It's going to be a little bit of pain while we do this. They've been telling us a little bit of pain since Trump got in office.
Yeah,
it's going to be a little bit of pain until we can get this under control.
I swear to God, it feels like somebody trying to do anal on us, man. Just relax your muscles, huh? So, and by the way, also in addition to them not allowing us to use airspace, I'm looking at News Nation right now. They still have the breaking news ticker that says U.S. military exchanges fire with Iran. What happened to the ceasefire that Trump and Hegseth and Rubio was bragging about? Iran don't seem to think a ceasefire is happening.
Look, they trying to the Joint Chiefs. They trying to play it down because they don't want to make it seem like the ceasefire is over. They talking about we had a little bit of an exchange because he don't want to say. America don't want to say that the ceasefire is not working. So instead of coming out strong like Trump always does, we're gonna blow you. It's just a little bit of exchange. They just tried to shoot some of our ships and in the straits and
they just tried to shoot some of our ships.
They literally tried to shoot our ships in the Straits of Hormuz, and he said there's a little bit of exchange. It's a little exchange.
The motherfuckers are taking on destroyers, man. Trump said their whole navy was gone. How the hell are they trying to take out destroyers with motherfuckers swim up to it or something? I mean,
ballistic missiles and all kinds of shit. They say they destroyed. There's nothing left for us to hit.
Did we underestimate this nation?
It's not just the nation. It's a whole lot of things going on in the background that people don't necessarily understand with the financial markets and the long-term bond market, and they don't understand. Trump comes out and says this ridiculous stuff. The bond market reacts, and then Trump comes out, hours or a day later, and just be like, yeah, we're not doing enduring freedom anymore. Because you seen our financial markets are teetering. People think this is just some small...
but I tell you something, have you heard about this poly market shit? Now, you deal with crypto a little bit, right?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know a lot about crypto, but I've heard about this poly market shit where you can gamble on anything. The motherfuckers making a killing betting on Trump's decision changes. I wish I had an insight. I mean, when he says a ceasefire, they can bet that a ceasefire is going to happen tomorrow or a strike is going to happen. And you think Trump is leaking information to gamblers?
I don't know if I wouldn't doubt it, knowing him. But I think the people closest to him who have a back channel to what he's thinking, it don't take a rocket science, but you got to have access to the futures market. You got to have access to understand when he says shit, what it actually means to the markets, and not because we just be like, oh, it's Taco, he changed his mind. No, he's changing his mind because it's driving us under the fucking bus. And people don't realize it because they think this is just about some gas going up. He talk about weeks and all of that shit, and now, even he got his own department up there tonight. Yeah, it might last to the 27 or 2028, it might.
Yeah. I don't know, but I just wish I had, there's so much money, despite whether you like Trump or not. One thing that's undeniable, there's so much money that just being close to them, money can rub off on you. They just dripping in cash, man. They got full access to the taxpayer dollar. They got full access to a lot of world entities. They got full access to corporate America. Money is coming at them from all angles.
Hey, it's coming at me too. My portfolio is on gangbusters. I ain't tripping about that.
You said, what about a galaxy? What did you say about a galaxy?
I would give you one if I was on TikTok. I figure out another way to get it to you.
Man,
but I understand that, probably it ain't
Alter Ego says house didn't count crypto going. Are you doing well in that market?
No, well, crypto, what people don't understand is crypto goes on its own cycle. So you can't get caught up with crypto in the regular economy because crypto goes on what we've seen as a 4-year kind of, it goes in a trend. And I could get it's
all right.
Kind of complicated.
Well, we won't get into crypto pornography, but let me ask you this, because Jace, we were talking about Israel and literally fighting for Jesus. Jason in the comments says, and this is interesting. I'm gonna read it. I want to get your take on this because this is a shocker. He says, if Israel is a democracy, then so was America before blacks could vote. How do you view that?
Wait, say that one more time.
If Israel is considered a democracy, then that means America was considered a democracy before blacks could vote.
I don't know. I would have to know the context of the way he's asking.
It took me a second too, but here's what I think he's saying. And Jay said in the comments, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think he is saying that part of Israel, part of their population is disenfranchised, just like America was during the time of Jim Crow and slavery or whatever. Yet we were still calling this country free and a democracy during that period of time. So what he is trying to suggest is the Palestinians, because there are other people that live in Israel other than the Israelis, and he's saying that they're being mistreated. So in other words, if Israel is a democracy while people are being mistreated and disenfranchised, it's the same as America was during, let's say, the era of Jim Crow.
Right. I agree with that. I mean, it goes towards kind of semantics, but I never believed. Once I kind of grew up and started to understand and learn more about this country, like there's a lot of hypocrisy. Like we be talking about who's great and all of this stuff, and I can go down the list of things that we are not great at and never have been great at. But you got people that will get on here and like, what was it, the conservative, straight talk, getting up here talking about he's right about everything and
straight talk. Straight talk is about as far right MAGA as I can get. I enjoy our conversations, even though him and I disagree on many things. But he just crashed out today. I've never seen him that aggressive, that belligerent. I don't know what happened to him today.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, for a while, I used to think, like, can he really be thinking like we really have people that walk around in society who think like that,
yes,
who have jobs,
yes,
who may be supervisors, who may be people with some type of power or whatever that actually think like that. That's kind of scary.
You got slave owners that expected to go to heaven when they died. Yes. Like you're reading from and I always wonder that even to this day, because the Bible hasn't changed. Like these people read from this same book and they thought they could do all that shit and get in heaven. Yeah, people really do think like that.
One thing you should have asked him though is when he says, which what he says is basically not the interpretation that many people get from the Bible. But one thing people need to be asked is Netanyahu and the Jewish Likud party, are those the same people that Jesus was talking about in the Bible? Because we have a tendency to think like Israel is where everything happened and Jesus was and everything. But they don't understand that's not where everything happened at. That's just, we created those lines to form Israel through politics. That's not Judeo, Judaism and all that stuff. It didn't come from the state of Israel proper like everybody thinks. So Netanyahu is not even an original Jew. He just has Jewish ancestry.
Wow.
They were his family is from Europe.
Yeah, it's above my pay grade, man. It's above my pay grade. Wow, I did not know that.
Be above your pay grade. I'm just asking you, when they say, are the Southerners of today the same Southerners, the ones that moved up north to get jobs back in the day? Remember, all the black people.
Yeah, both sides of my family. My mom was born in Memphis, or my grandma was born in Memphis, and my mom too. But my mom's side came from Memphis. My dad's side came from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Both of my parents are part of that escaping to the North party. Chicago, Detroit was another one of the areas where a lot of people escaped to. Yeah,
got up there.
yeah.
So you answer somebody decades or centuries later, are those the same people that God was talking about? No, it's not the same people. A lot of those Jewish people that are there today came from where? They came from Germany because Germans put their ass out.
They didn't put them out. They basically.
We as the West gave them that place to live. So when you say support the Jews, like that's kind of an arbitrary thing to just be like, we just got to be good to the Jews. When the Jews, look, Israel is abortion on demand. Israel had the biggest gay pride parade in Tel Aviv, probably in the whole world. They got free health care. All of the same shit that we want to deprive ourselves of, Israelis get to take advantage of. But now we saying that if you're American, if you support the freedom of choice, you a devil, you going to hell. You're a murderer.
That's
They
it.
doing the same shit in Israel. The same people that talking about we got to defend with our lives, our money, our lives, and everything. It's not right for them to do it because in the Bible, somebody said that God, who was perfect, said, I favor these one section of people over everybody else.
Well, you did hear Straight Talk suggest that they are the chosen one. I think Handsome Conservative said the same thing, that they are the chosen ones. So that's where this is coming from.
Right, but they don't talk about how it's a metaphor when he says the Jewish people, because he also explained that the Jewish people are like, it's in your heart, it's in your soul. They're not saying a particular group of people, because remember how the people tell us that if we talk about reparations, how we gonna know if you supposed to get it? We don't know if you was born and your family was a slave.
I swear you sound like a Southern white boy saying that shit.
Across the world, we gonna say we gotta protect them and give up all of our rights, our money, our blood, our treasure, because we know that who those people is. That's bullshit.
Well, according to Straight Talk, the criticism you're now rendering upon the current Jewish population damns you to hell. You're going to be cursed. You're going to be cursed.
Straight Talk is the decider. These are the same motherfuckers that's telling the Pope to shut the fuck up.
Well, both, and I see Conservative is disagreeing. He says, with all due respect, that's not what the Bible says. He is also one who says the Pope is not very Christian-like.
Right. So that is the part of the mentality, the brainwashing of American citizens to believe that it doesn't matter. You could take the lowest person living in a trailer park in West Virginia who lives up in the holler. He gets to sit in his fucking junky ass trailer that's falling apart and be like, Barack Obama was a dummy. He don't know what he's talking about.
I'm gonna leave it there, didn't count. I do appreciate you coming on. Lots of comedy in that.
I know I don't get to talk too much. I just got two quick ones I wanted to say before I go.
Sure.
All right, Trump appointed a former undocumented migrant to be the bishop of West Virginia. That's kind of funny to me. And did you see those federal judges during that hearing that would not say that Trump cannot run for a third term?
Yeah.
That is scary.
That is frightening. That is frightening. Yeah,
the independent judiciary cannot say from the text of the Constitution that he cannot run again. That is some scary shit for anybody.
Yeah, it's making it clear they're loyalists. Just like when when they ask people who won the 2020 election and they don't want to answer that, it's the same thing. That lets you know that person is a loyalist. And that's what the Democrats are trying to do. Just like when they were asking the Democrats, well, can you define what a woman is? They're trying to point out the political standards of that person. Now, obviously, not knowing what a woman is nowhere near as dangerous as this shit. But I'm just simply saying that that's what the Democrats are doing, is trying to highlight the fact that this person is not going to be an unbiased, person behind the bench if they won't even tell you the man can't run again. Damn. That's like you said, that's in the Constitution itself.
These MAGA people on here talking about they want an alpha man who's not going to back down and all of this stuff. They need somebody who's acting like a gangster. What kind of beta fuck is running around talking about they need somebody who gonna be running, who gonna be telling everybody what to do? Like, we don't need that.
Well, he's their gangster, Denkel. He's their gangster. So we'll leave it at that. I appreciate you coming through, man. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Always a pleasure. All right, moving on with the program. Tap the screen. Get us up to 140, not 40, 140,000, if you will. Before we continue on, just looking in the comments. Last night, I watched Trump answer to Howard Stern's questions 6 times, 17 Trump answers. I don't know what you're talking about there. Draft, what do y'all think about that? I think I'm too old to be drafted, but I would hate that because I don't favor what the government is doing. I don't look, because Trump is already gung-ho about taking Cuba. He's already made statements about having an aircraft carrier stop at Cuba next. Look, I understand how bad it sounds to compare him to Hitler and all this other shit and how the Democrats sound crazy doing that. But that was one of the things Hitler was doing, is constantly trying to acquire countries. He went from Greenland. And by the way, the whole threat of taking Greenland was unnecessary. Greenland had no problem with us occupying their land for whatever military purposes we needed. Why he was coming across saying we need to own their country was a step too much, because there was more to owning Greenland than he was using. In fact, he's using security for all these excuses. Every one of these countries he is dealing with, he's yelling somehow it's in the benefit of America, it's to the benefit of American security, but his resources, in most of the countries, in fact, all of them, they're all resource-rich countries. It's nothing to do with security. It's about the resources. And people can see through it, is what I'm saying. I will correct myself. It's not the Pope isn't a Christian. It's he's saying things that were not true. So you're saying the Pope is saying things that are not true. Once again, above my pay grade. I can't argue with the Pope. Did we conquer Panama? Not yet. Iran is putting up more resistance than President Trump expected. My guess is if Iran had failed like Venezuela did, we would probably be 2 countries from Iran by now, because Cuba's going to fall pretty quick. And Trump talked about Colombia. My guess is, yeah, I mean, he did threaten to take the Panama Canal back too, so that would be another one that would fall pretty quick. So if it's just Iran is giving him way more resistance than he expected. So it is what it is. Let me go back to the box here briefly. Tap the screen. Help your boy out with the hat, mustache, TikTok cap goals. This is a MAGA-friendly program. We don't block, ban, or censor. Doesn't matter what your political affiliation is. We let you speak. You can be critical of anybody on the program, including yours truly. Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Brother, you're right. Today, but plenty of church leaders are making good use of it and using their positions to cover it up. Yeah. Can't wait until he's president of Venezuela. You do realize he's 80 years old, right? Trump has admitted that he is not a Christian. He has admitted it on video, but he's also admitted more recently that he is a newly practicing Catholic or something like that. So he has changed that. Now you're mocking Jesus, says Timoteo. Timoteo, we're allowed to talk to you. We haven't talked to you in a while. And by the way, how am I mocking Jesus? How about this? MAGA reacts. Good evening.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much at all. I don't know if you heard the clip earlier, but I want to play it again because we got new users, new viewers in here, and I want to ask you for your opinion on this. This was I got to bring it up here, the one and only Lindsey Graham. We played this earlier, and I don't believe I don't know why. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I want you to hear this.
A big difference, folks. To people in my party, I'm tired of this crap. Israel is our friend. They're the most reliable friend we have in the Mideast. They're a democracy, surrounded by people who would cut their throats if they could. This is not a hard choice if you're an American. It's not a hard choice if you're a Christian. A word of warning. If America pulls the plug on Israel, God will pull the plug on us. And we're not going to let that happen.
Now, before I question you on Lindsey Graham, I want you to keep that mindset, because I played this earlier, but this is Ted Cruz as well.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of...
Are we fighting this? Are we fighting for Jesus right now? I mean, do you agree with them? Do you believe that we are obligated by God to stand by Israel? MAGA reacts. Did we lose you? I think we lost MAGA. We lost my last caller. We'll go back to the box. We'll make it happen with Travelman. Good evening, Travelman. Talk about a Rainbow Coalition members, multiple. Lindsey Graham, that woman. That's Lindsey Graham is MAGA. Travelman, good evening.
Hey, what's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. Not much at all. We're talking about riding with Israel. Ride or die for Israel. What say you?
Man, you got all these damn holy rollers up on here. You know, I'll be honest with you, man. I get tired of hearing this shit. You know?
Well, we're trying to get into heaven, right?
You ever met anybody been to heaven?
No, they usually are so happy they don't come back.
Exactly. You ever met anybody been to hell?
No, they usually are so unhappy they don't come back. No.
You ever met the person who wrote the Bible?
No, I have not. I was hoping I'd get it.
Exactly. And you know what else they did?
What's up?
While they was beating the shit out of slaves and raping them, they was quoting scripture. They were using religion as a crutch.
That's deep. That is fucking deep.
You know? And force-fed their religion onto us.
That is true.
Onto our ancestors, rather.
That part is true.
I'll make this easy for you, Tim. We not fighting for Jesus. These damn holy rollers. That's what they want to turn it into. You know?
I've had a lot of folks.
They want to turn it into. They always hollering about Sharia law, but meanwhile, they trying to turn us into a freaking theocracy.
That's a great counterpoint, because I had somebody, what is his name? Nick Shirley. I followed him on one of the social media, I think Facebook, and he posted a meme on his page and said, should folks who want Sharia law in America be deported? And of course, all these supporters are saying yes. But you raise a good point. How can you complain about them wanting the extremes of Sharia law when you believe in this stuff?
Well, they want to put the 10 Commandments in the classroom.
Yeah.
They say, well, you took God out of school. And 12 years of going to school, Tim, I never prayed in the classroom before class. We said the Pledge of Allegiance.
Same,
okay.
Same.
And you know, and you got these Christian, whatever the hell they call themselves, these evangelicals, and then they turn around and they voted for a man who's a serial adulterer. Okay. He got 3 baby mamas, 5 kids. He's a pathological liar. He treats people like shit. He's the antithesis of everything they believe in. Well, and not only did they vote for him once, twice, they voted for him for 3 freaking times, talking about God sent him down here and all this other crazy shit. They can't be smoking weed. They must be on mushrooms or something, because they ain't
Well, they plan on voting for.
We won't think like this.
They plan on voting for him again in 2028. But I want to read a couple. Yeah. I want to read a couple things to you because you have sparked my comment section. First of all, conservative says you're always playing the victim. Christianity was in Africa first, but also before you respond to that, hold on. Before you respond to that, I'll give you time to respond to both. Also, Whiplash Wood says, "Ain't no slaves been abused with scripture." Stupid ass is his comment. So he's disagreeing with your statement that they were using scripture while whipping slaves.
I said they were repeating scripture. That's what I said. They were repeating scripture to the slaves. They were teaching them Christianity. They were supposed to be heathens. But if you go look at African history, the African culture was more advanced than the Europeans were. Before they went over there and fucked them up and spread diseases and all kind of shit. And as far as victim go, ain't nobody no damn victim. What his damn name is? Handsome conservative?
Yes.
Ain't nobody. Every time you see, this is the problem. Every time you bring up freaking slavery or Jim Crow or something, they always throw that bullshit out there about, oh, you're talking, you're a victim. These motherfuckers running around here and they still talk about the lost cause and they still flying fucking flags and honoring assholes that turned on this country that were traitors. Don't talk to me about no fucking victim.
That is true. Shit. That is true.
And you know what, Tim? Let me tell you something. You want to know victim? In 1860, slaves were worth over $3 billion. They were worth more than all the banks combined. They were worth more than the freaking railroads.
What do you mean? Wait, you said slaves were worth $3? What do you mean? It's just the whole slave trade? You mean was worth that much?
Slaves were worth the slaves, the people, the bodies.
Wow,
that's what they were worth. Over $3 billion. Slaves were worth more than all the banks. They were worth more than all the railroads combined. A couple of the other industries. That's what, and that was for 250 freaking years. So don't talk to me about no damn victim bullshit. Yeah. And then you turn around and you want to make motherfuckers fruit from trees for another 100 years. Get the hell out of here. You got people living today that have relatives that were brutalized.
Yeah.
Okay, ain't no fucking victims. I'm just telling you like it is. When you look at those old movies, what are they doing? In the name of Jesus Christ, the Lord this. Ain't that the Bible?
I mean, that's. I believe they also say, "May God have mercy on your soul" when they sentence you to death. Yeah, they do that. Yeah, when they sentence you to death, I think they say that.
Or when they was raping them.
Ooh.
You know, because before they changed it where the child would be whatever the mother was, it was the child would be what the father was. Yeah. But it was children being born by slaves that was raped by slave holders, and that's when they changed it so that a child born to a slave mother, he was a slave. Okay, that's just the way it is. But let's get back to these holy rollers, right? Let's get back to what this dude.
And before we get back to these holy rollers, as you're saying, I do have a secondary poll on YouTube. Is President Trump a Christian? That's not one of the answers. 176 people that voted so far. 25% of you say yes, Trump is a Christian out of that 176 voters. 75% of you say no. Is President Trump a Christian? 75% of people say no. Wow.
Trump is the least religious president we have ever had. Okay? I was down there during his first term. I was in D.C. every freaking day. And I bet you in 4 years, unless he was going to the National Prayer Service or something like that, that man was never at a church. Every Sunday, you saw either W or Biden or Obama. If not every Sunday, most Sundays, they were at somebody's church. This dickhead barely left the damn White House when he was there the first time. And then he come in here the second time, and these people, anybody that voted for him, they overlooked everything that he did. He had one crisis in 4 freaking years, and that was COVID. And he blew it out his ass. And then they turned around and they voted for him again, and what happened? First he came in and destroyed freaking USA over some bullshit. Now you got AIDS spreading every freaking where properly. You got people dying. Then on top of that, he alienated every freaking other country in the world
We are isolated right now. You had 30 countries had a meeting to try to see how they can get the ships through the Strait of Hormuz. 30 or 40 freaking countries, Tim. And you know who wasn't there?
Us.
The United States. Okay? They're swinging deals with China. Germany and Japan has started increasing their military industrial manufacturing capabilities. We already talked about Sweden and all the other countries. The European Union is the second largest economy behind the United States. So for this arrogance, where everybody seems to think that that everybody need us and we don't need anybody.
I hate that. I really do hate that.
You got this dickhead over here. Who was it? Talking about we should be asking. Was it Germany or somebody, whoever it was, to come help us out in the strait? You know, we just stepped off into this BS where they think these people are going to give up, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're not going to give up.
Why do you think that? I mean, because according to Trump, their military, their navy is dilapidated. Why do you think they're still in the fight this late?
Their Air Force was F-14s from the 70s. You know, they used to buy their military stuff from us. The F-14s, they had F-14s from the 70s. So probably most of that shit don't even fly. All right. The Navy was really like a coastal Navy. The only boat that they really blew up, it was unarmed, coming back from somewhere else. It wasn't even.
Well, they used a torpedo. I mean, it was bodies. It was a lot of bodies from that.
But the ship was unarmed.
Oh,
The ship wasn't armed.
it wasn't unmanned though. We killed a lot of people blowing that ship up.
No, it wasn't unmanned.
Yeah,
but they wasn't carrying any arms. You know, and now look what's happened to what was that? Is it the UAE? Where their infrastructure has been damaged. Saudi Arabia, infrastructure has been damaged. Qatar, Kuwait.
Do you agree with what I said earlier in regard? Because we're making it sound like Iran is a rogue nation by attacking so many people. Do you agree with what I said? Whereas if we were attacked by Russia and Russia was launching attacks from Cuba and Haiti and Bermuda and Bahamas, all these countries off of our coast, do you agree with me in suggesting we would attack those countries?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. And I think, I didn't read the article, but there was an article that's out there now, I don't know if it's in the Wall Street Journal, that said that it was more damage done to our military installations than what's actually being reported. Okay? Yeah. And then another thing, you know, ever since the bombing, the thing in Afghanistan during the withdrawal when the 13 Marines died, right? How much are you hearing about the 12 people that was over there in the building that wasn't fortified? You don't hear it. You don't hear it.
You're not talking about the ones that died, are you?
Yeah.
Well,
in Kuwait.
Yeah, Trump did a dignified transfer with a MAGA hat on.
With a MAGA hat on. That's so disrespectful. But how many times have you heard them blaming Biden for the withdrawal and for the unaliving of the Marines?
That's a good point. That is a good point. When those 13 during that Afghanistan evacuation, when 13 service personnel lost their life, they blamed the hell out of Biden for that. They ain't said nothing to Trump about. Yeah, but that's because they believe the Iran war is necessary.
Really?
Yeah.
So what are we going to end up with? Maybe JCPOA version 2? Is that what we're going to end up with?
It depends Well, it's a different. Let me tell you something. It's a difference between what we end up with and what Trump tells us we ended up with. Because Trump, first of all, he's going to say we ended up with an Iran that cannot get a nuclear weapon that they were about to get under the Obama deal. Is probably what he's going to. So it's a difference between what actually happens and what he says. But he's going to make it sound like we're in a much more advantageous position after this attack than we were before it. I mean, so you got to wait to see what Trump is going to release.
Why do people believe what this dude says? He's a pathological liar. He stood up in front. He had a small business roundtable at the White House either yesterday or the day before. He stood up talking to those guys, and he lied to them standing right there in front of their faces. We have $18 trillion worth of investment in the United States. No, we don't. It's not even on the freaking government website.
Well, first
He
of all,
stood right there and repeated numerous lies. He repeats this stuff over and over and over because MAGA is like a step above Earth Biscuit, and so they start believing that shit.
well,
You know,
well, first of all, they don't.
you know what?
The notion, the belief is not that Trump is lying. It's that folks like you in the media are just skewing his words and taking shit out of context. That's the belief.
How about using critical thinking? How about that? How about the fact that I was on base yesterday morning and I got gas and it was $3.97. And then when I went back on base yesterday evening about 8 o'clock, I said, well, let me top off. And it was $4.17.
Wow.
Okay.
Polish got
And they like to
13.
talk about one more thing, Tim. They like to talk about, well, you know, the price of gas was high under Biden. Yeah, it was.
I was just
Because
about to say
Russia
that.
invaded Ukraine. What's the cause of this price increase now?
America invading Iran. Polish got 13, says, but how honest was President Biden? You knew that was coming, so he wants you to tackle. If you're going to talk about dishonesty, he wants to know, what about Biden?
We're not talking about Biden. We're talking about Trump. Okay? Did Biden alienate all our allies? Did Biden blow COVID out of his ass? No. Matter of fact, I think if you go back and look, he signed some bills that Trump said was going to be signed, in about 2 weeks. Okay? What president did Biden constantly attack people every day? Did Biden get up on TV and say that another foreign leader was kissing his ass? Did Biden say anything like that? Okay?
That stuff has worked for Trump, though, Travelman. That type of the rhetoric, the bullying.
Explain that to me. How's it working?
It got him reelected.
It's working for the MAGA people.
Right.
How is it
They're
working
in charge.
for the United States? How is it working for the United States internationally?
Well, you're asking too many questions now. I'm just simply saying it worked for MAGA. It worked to get Trump reelected, and that's what they're happy with. The rest of that shit, they'll figure it out later.
You know, he say Biden was too incompetent to say or do any damn thing. And we got an incompetent dude in there right now. He's signing shit. He don't even know what he's signing. You ask him a question, I don't know.
I don't know, Trump.
You heard Trump say, I don't know. You know?
Well, I don't think it's that Trump is incompetent is one thing. I don't think it's that Trump's cognitive ability is the issue. I think when he says I don't know and stuff like that, he does. I just think he's trying to save face.
Yeah, you're lying. That's a lie, Tim.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to be nice.
We have the most incompetent cabinet probably in my lifetime, and I'm 67 years old. These people that's in his cabinet, they're not even DEI qualified, Tim.
Damn.
Okay?
Damn.
They tell me they like to talk about meritocracy. Who in that cabinet did Pete Hegseth get there meritoriously based on his actions?
I give it up for before I gotta move it on, but Marco Rubio was qualified.
Marco Rubio. How many people in the cabinet? Okay. Did I give you another one? The chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Did he get there based on meritoriously? No, he was a 3-star when he retired. They brought him back because Trump liked him.
Yeah.
This dude put 240-some judges on the court. He only appointed 4 blacks. And they like to talk about this other crazy shit. This is another thing, too. They had a panel of nominees. Republicans cannot say that Trump lost the election in 2020.
Yeah.
They can't say it.
Well, if you say it, you'll get in trouble. I got to move it on, Travelman, but yeah, you'll get in trouble. And that's what, because loyalty is required. Travelman, thanks for coming through.
Tim.
Always. Tap the screen, 160 is possible. Timoteo, you just in the comments going off, ain't you? He says crybaby. Timoteo's in the comments. We haven't talked in a while. You need to put in your request. Looking in the comments here real quick. How are you, man? You're a liberal. Says country boys. I lean politically left, yes. I don't think everything about the right is horrible, but I lean politically left. My poll question on YouTube is Trump Is President Trump a Christian? Still at 75-25, 201 votes. 75% say no, he's not a Christian. 25% say yes. Huh. Wow. It's a lot of fun. You know, it used to be something where it was viewed very negatively if the country did not think you believed in God or did not think you were a Christian. Remember when Obama was running, they were sitting in his church, chickens are coming home to roost. They had Reverend Wright was the Reverend. It was on the south side of Chicago, one of those mega churches. And they were, Sean Hannity had people sitting in on services recording sermons so that they could pick out negative things the pastor said. Now, that's a Baptist church, though. So there wasn't no denying it was Christian, but they didn't think they thought the pastor was anti-American or something like that. But it was a Christian church. What church does Trump belong to? I mean, Trump has been in the spotlight most of our lives, and I'm Gen X. I'm in my early 50s, and I always remember Trump. I don't remember a time when he wasn't well known. What church does he belong to? That man has had a lot of fun in his life, and it ain't been the type of fun you would normally see from somebody who's really pro-Christian. I mean, he's hung around the Playboy Mansion most of his life. There's a few women that suggest he might have done a few things to them that he shouldn't have. There's a few kids apparently that said the same thing. I don't know. But what church was this guy belonging to? Anyway, look at in the comments. Dude is supporting DEI. He mentions race. Polish guy, as I said on my show yesterday, DEI is about as American as apple pie and baseball. It's just right now it's unpopular because it's been benefiting people of color. But I said this on yesterday's show. For most of America's history, you could get positions you didn't earn by simply being a white guy. Simply being a white guy. Because there were a ton of things that you could do in America, managerial positions, politician positions, military. Nobody else could get it. You had to be a white guy to even get the job. That's DEI. We only got the job because you're gay. You only got the job because you're a woman or because you're black. Well, most of America's history, you only got the job because you're white and a man. That's the way the country was founded. It only became an issue when it wasn't working for white men. But for most of America's history, being a white male gave you a step up over everybody. I don't care what kind of merit or qualifications or resume you had as a black person or as a woman or as a Hispanic or as somebody who's gay. You weren't going to get the job. You were not going to get the job. You knew when the mayor dies, the next mayor is going to be a white man. When the guy who runs the police force, the police chief, when he retires, the next one's going to be a white dude. You already knew that. You already knew that from day one. You already knew the next principal at the school was going to be that way, the next superintendent. You knew all of that's DEI, right? And for you, Timoteo, in the comments to try to suggest that most of America's history, you didn't know the next managerial position, leader in the military is going to be a white guy. You just lost all credibility by saying that. You just lost all credibility by saying that. Considering that non-white guys, women, gays, blacks, Hispanics, they were banned from even applying. So for you to try to suggest that that's not true, probably just indicates you just want to troll, I guess. I mean, look, I'm willing to entertain adverse opinions, but when you're in the comments saying 2 + 2 is 5, I don't know where to go with that. I mean, what are you trying to tell me, that if you wanted to be a black astronaut in the 1940s or 1950s or whenever they started doing that, that was possible? I mean, you just want to troll for the sake of trolling. Real talk. Wow. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Real talk with the dinosaur. Appreciate that. Looking in the comments, Trump is the Antichrist. Now that's strong. I wouldn't go that far. Wow. The Antichrist. Somebody got in there, Trump 666. You guys are being mean to our commander-in-chief. You don't know what is in his heart. This guy needs a hobby and a hook. I agree with that. We don't know what's in the guy's heart, but I'll tell you this. We didn't have any problem saying Obama was a Muslim. Now all of a sudden people question Trump's religion and, well, you don't know what's in his heart. We had no problem doing this shit to Obama. Obama never ran and suggested he was a Muslim, yet the whole right was calling that guy a Muslim while sitting in his Baptist church recording sermons. I'd make it make sense. But I don't know why all of a sudden now, whoa, real talk, appreciate that. Thank you very much. You ever hear of white-only schools today? No, but that doesn't take away from what I said, and thank you, Real Talk, for that beautiful graphic. No, there's not white-only schools today, but my statement was DEI has been American as apple pie for most of America's history. The country was founded in 1776. When did DEI for white guys end? About a couple hundred years later? The country's only been a nation for, 250 years coming up? 200 of those years, DEI existed for white males only. Most of America's history, DEI applied. Real Talk with the Galaxy. Thank you for supporting the program and showing some love there, Real Talk. Let me go back to the box and we'll make it happen again with, I wanted to bring up one of my viewers who, we'll go to Arsha, one of my subscribers, but to Keisha, I wanted, because we had a man on talking about the Bible earlier. We needed you when he was talking about that. You didn't hear any of it. Arsha, good evening.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I don't know. We're fighting for Jesus. Fighting for Jesus. What say you?
Well, I have to say something about, first, I'm just going to say some facts. And if anybody wants to look it up, they can, because I have all three. Actually, I have all four. But the very first Christian nation that actually put Christianity as their national religion was Ethiopia. Most of the Middle East and Northern Africa was Egyptian Orthodox Christian, well before it ever entered Europe, which was 50 years later after being in Africa and the Middle East. That Bible, the Catholic canon that was chosen, is not the Ethiopian.
Yeah, you educated me on that earlier. I didn't know that before. All of the books that they got rid of.
And so every Christian in the world that was part of the Roman Catholic Church, which later went into sub-Saharan Africa and did their missionary work and around the world. But that being said, that was the chosen canon, the Catholic canon, the Roman canon. When Martin Luther came and separated the church, they reduced it even more. 66 books, also known as the King James Bible, which has also been reinterpreted for 400 and some whatever years. So when somebody that is a Protestant Christian that has 66 books and they're telling me what's in the Bible, they need to have every Bible.
Any idea how many books it really is? I mean, because what you're basically saying is
it's 88.
88 books. So division and racism made them literally chop the Bible in half.
No, it wasn't racism. The Roman Catholic Church left out the Book of Enoch.
Why?
The majority of it.
Why?
It predates Genesis.
But why would they leave it out?
Because they thought it was too... If you read it, you can understand. It would blow your mind. It will change your whole idea of creation because of the first flood that we don't realize. Because Noah was Enoch's grandson. So the book of Enoch, Noah's grandfather was...
Burning 47, check this one out. Burning 47 on YouTube says the book of Enoch is not important to Christianity.
Well, it was important enough for the first Christians.
I want to know why they took these books out.
So, okay, what do we use books for?
I mean, kind of like the blueprint of life, I thought.
Well, I mean, there's a reason. I mean, and I want to say to people, being anti-Semitic would mean that you are anti-peoples of the book. Al-Kitab means the book. Peoples of the book are the Orthodox Jews, Christians and people that are Islam, or Muslim Islam, because all of them believe, well, except for Orthodox Jews, but Christians and Muslims. I have the Quran. The Quran has one entire surah on Jesus. It also has one entire surah on his mother. She is very revered. She bore the Messiah.
Okay.
She was chosen by God. So you have all these regions.
What I'm confused is why, if you do want to follow the teachings of Jesus and all that, why are folks not outraged that books have been taken out, that they're not getting the full? In other words, the Bible should be thicker. You're saying 88 books. How many books is the King James Bible? How many books is that one?
66.
So you're talking 22 books.
And the Catholic canon has 72.
So that's still another 16 missing books. I'm wondering why don't the religions, why are they complaining?
So when you say that the Pope isn't Christian, he's not reading from the Bible. Yes, he is. He's not reading from yours. He is, as St. Augustinian was a priest through St. Augustine. St. Augustine was a saint from Africa, Northern Africa.
Well, the MAGA side believes that the Pope has gotten too deep into politics, and I had conservative up here earlier was saying that some of the things he's saying is not true.
The same thing, the Pharisees said the same thing about Jesus.
That what he was saying was not true?
Mm-hmm.
You're well above my knowledge on this, so I can't do nothing but listen.
You know what? Listen, Tim, I'll just tell you. How old am I? I'll be 52 in October. I was 51 and a half when I realized that my Bible, the Catholic Bible, was missing, another 10 books.
Damn.
And, so anyway. But yeah,
sounds like a really bad game of spades. You're missing 10 books. That's what it sounds like.
The Arabization of Northern Africa and the Middle East is what, the conversion of, Christianity to Islam. But there are still, the Christian Orthodox Church, in North Africa is still very huge. And it does its original thing.
Well, I think conservative, who I was talking to earlier, wants to either correct or push back. Or conservative, now he's on Clapper, so this will be a cross-app conversation. But conservative, are you there?
I am.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second so I can disconnect this microphone.
Okay, because he was the one on earlier that was suggesting that the Pope was not Christian like or saying things that were totally wrong. And I hear you, Arshafine, saying he's not even, what are you saying? He's reading from a different book, or I'm trying to get clarity.
He's talking about something totally different. I mean, Jesus said, "Follow me, I am the way." And what did he say after that? You can read it in every single, book of Matthew. Follow me, I am the way. After that, in that exact same chapter, he talks about feeding the poor, healing the sick.
How about this? Before you guys
helping the downtrodden.
Yeah, before you guys engage, and thank you, Real Talk. I can't even, Student's Finest or something. One of my commenters says Trump is a true Christian. That's why they persecute and hate him and tried to take his life twice, just like what they did to Jesus. Do you see any comparables?
Yes, and they're right. He is the light. He is the light of the world. So.
You're being sarcastic.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
So you believe that Trump is the light of the world?
No, Jesus.
Did you hear what? No, hold on. Let me read this again because apparently you didn't hear what I said. This viewer says President Trump is a true Christian. That's why they persecuted him and they hate him and they tried to take his life twice, just like what they did to Jesus.
He's not persecuted. He's still alive, isn't he?
Well, I'm just reading what I saw.
And for anybody, go back to the 10 Commandments. go back to the other two, if you want to just break it down into simple terms that Jesus said, love God and only God, and love others as I have loved you.
Okay. Now, conservative, what did you wanted to add something to this?
Okay, I did. I think, okay, first of all, let me say that she's 100% right, that the Ethiopian Bible is the full canon Bible. That she is 100%.
It's not
right
a canon, it's just a Bible. They don't call it a canon, it's just the Bible, but yes.
Okay, well, however you want to put it, she is right on that. So we have no disagreement there. As far as what I said earlier about the Pope, the Bible is crystal clear whether it's the 66 books or the Ethiopian Bible, which I believe is 86 books or something along those lines. It's very
the
clear
Catholic
there's
Bible,
only one way to the Father. That's through the Son, Jesus Christ.
You missed the part where I also mentioned the Catholic Bible, or known as the Universal Bible, that has 72. So he's speaking on.
You're right. Yes, the Catholic Bible has 72 books. They're still missing some books. But
so,
yes, she is right about the Ethiopian Bible.
But there's no Israel as a nation didn't even exist. Israel, or the nation of Israel, did not have borders. They were a group of people that worshipped the one God that we know was delivered through Moses, right? Or that's in the Torah, correct?
Yes, the one true God. Yes,
Yes. And didn't in the Torah, what was it, Daniel? The book of Daniel, where all was revealed about the coming of the Messiah, correct? And he would come to his chosen people, correct? I'm just summarizing it.
For somebody who's not a Bible reader, this is complicated as hell. I don't want to go too deep.
Anyway, the long story short is when Jesus arrived on the scene, it was the completion of the Old Testament and the beginning of the New Testament. And he's very clear that there is only one way to the Father. That is what I was saying, that the Pope was saying that is wrong. There is only one way. Not all religions lead to the Father.
But we can agree to disagree on that one.
You believe there is more than one way?
I believe that if you're one of the people of the book and believe in God, whether you call it, then yes, that is the way. If you want to go, speak to the Father, you speak to the Father. I don't believe that.
Are you a Christian?
I am a Christian. I mean,
there's no way you're gonna know all of this shit and not be Christian.
I read the Bible. I also read the Quran.
I get it. It's a legitimate question, but I think it's pretty obvious.
Very spiritual life. I take the Eucharist every Sunday. I believe it is the living God that I'm consuming. I don't believe it is a symbol.
Okay, well, the Bible clearly states, whether it's the Ethiopian Bible or the King James Version or the Catholic Bible, it very clearly states that there is only one way to the Father, and that's through the Son. And unless they change some words around in the Catholic Bible, I'm not Catholic, I wouldn't know. There's only the one way. You cannot be a Muslim and call Jesus a prophet and get your way and get to heaven.
That's what you say, and that's what you believe the truth, the interpretation is. I don't know I don't know any more than you actually know. None of us are going to know until we pass over this moment, because the only thing we all truly share in this life is that we're all going to die. So we're all going to find out one way or another what's on the other adventure after death. Until then, none of us truly know.
Yeah.
Correct?
All right. With respect, then I'll just say this. With respect, because I do believe that she is a Christian. I asked out of respect. But with respect, I will say on this side, where we are now, I'm going to go with what the Holy Bible says and not what my opinion is. Because my opinion isn't worth anything. Only the word is.
And I am going to go with the Bible as well. I'm going to go more so with the teachings of Jesus versus just one big, but I'm going to go with the book of Matthew. And yeah, you and I are both going through the Bible. We both stand by it. I stand by the teachings of Jesus, humility, helping others,
Right, but remember,
this is
all of our
bombing, hurting, unaliving, and being the aggressor. Okay, if this was a defensive act of war, that would be a different thing. But since we were the instigator and the attacker, please do not launch weapons of destruction.
Well, I understand, Arsha.
That is disgusting.
Arsha, understand you're talking to someone who, now, conservative who you're talking to believes that taking out the infrastructure of Iran, which is their fresh water supply and their light and their power, he believes that's fair game. So he is exactly what you're talking to.
Is that harming the citizenry, or is it only harming the government?
No, he understands this, the citizens. He supports that.
But I mean, you can't say.
I do not support attacking the citizens. What I said was taking out the infrastructure is a far better plan than carpet bombing a city full of people. That's what I said. Well, I keep saying it over and over.
Yeah, because you don't wait. Hold on, hang on, Arshafan. Yes, because you don't believe you're saying taking out the infrastructure is better than carpet bombing, as if taking out the infrastructure is not taking out a bunch of citizens in itself. It's kind of the same thing, in my opinion. Conservative.
You're causing harm on the innocent.
Say that again.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
She said you're causing harm onto innocent people.
War is causing harm on innocent people. I'm suggesting,
and that is why Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that out loud. And that is exactly what Pope Leo was saying. War is, God is not on any side of war. That's what he's trying to say. Stop war. Talk. Reach across the aisle. Use dialogue. That is how those who kill by, those who kill by the sword, die by the sword. This isn't, so don't tell me that this is what Jesus would, don't hide behind the Bible and justify war.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to move it on shortly, but before we
I want to get off of the religion topic. I didn't get a chance to say other things.
Okay, well we'll move on from religion. Conservative, I'll go ahead and drop you. Thank you for coming back through, as always.
Thanks for talking and being respectful.
Hey, much respect. We may not agree on everything, but I do believe you're a Christian. So
that'll work.
Thank you.
Thank you for the talk.
All right. And real quick in the comments before you continue, Arshafine, you will be Babu says, Tim, please tell Miss Beautiful Arshafine I looked up everything that what she is saying. Some of it, 20% is true. The other 71%, it's kind of different math there. 71% is a little bit inaccurate, and she almost tell her to call her brother. So he's saying the wording was a little off, but he's saying that he looked up what you're saying, and about 20% of it he can verify. What else did you want to discuss briefly? Because I'm about to move on shortly.
A few days ago, I think I've been trying to get on for a few days, but a few days ago, it was kind of the topic of do you really believe we'd be capable of something like that? Basically going back to Jim Crow or you know,
yeah, I did
just any of the things in the world. And I don't know if you watched the movie Nuremberg or not. But
I haven't seen it yet. No. What is it on? Is it on Netflix? Where are you seeing that at?
You can buy it on Prime, but I think it's actually might be available like HBO. Yeah, just type it in and see where you can watch it. But we purchased it because, you know, it is my grandfather was a witness to the Nuremberg trials. So I always thought that was interesting. Yeah. But at the end of the movie, there's a quote, and I can't remember the specific person it was, but it was, if you want to know what man is capable of, look what they've already done.
Mm. Yeah, once Trump, look, I don't want to.
And that's not about Trump. That's not about Trump. That's about any.
But he is the topic of discussion, and I'll just say this. Yeah, I don't want to believe that the Trump administration is capable of taking us back to Jim Crow, but in regards to your statement of look at what he's already done, once he started talking about completely destroying the civilization and taking out their fresh water supply, and we know what he's doing to Cuba right now. They're in the dark, and he's capable of some dastardly shit. I mean, is the Jim Crow stuff you're talking about, is that above him? Depends on how many black people piss him off.
Like causing harm and, you know, not caring about. I mean, we've done.
I'll give you another one that I just found out today. You had a bipartisan bill. I think the town is called Pueblo, Colorado. Their fresh water supply has been tainted by salt and things like that, minerals going into their groundwater. So they had some kind of bill in place to bring fresh water to Pueblo, Colorado. Now, this is Lorena Bobart's area, and there was a bipartisan bill that was going to give them fresh water. And I'm hearing that because Bobart sided with Marjorie Taylor Greene and the rest of them to release the Epstein files, Trump vetoed a bipartisan bill to bring fresh water to Pueblo, Colorado. And it hasn't happened now. So you're talking 50,000 people who overwhelmingly voted for him.
Okay, yes. So, yeah, again, people, how is he making American people live a better life today than we had? I mean, that's enough said. Even that being said, what you just said, Tim, should be a reason why you should at least think about it. I'm not saying you have to.
We get people to think one caller at a time.
And I have one more thing to say.
Real quick.
Give Donald Trump credit for this. I'm going to give him credit. There's one thing that he has done that I will applaud him on.
Go.
He moved marijuana to a Schedule 3 instead of Schedule 1.
They should just legalize that shit like Bernie Sanders said.
Well, I know, but I will take my tiny little crumb.
I've never tried it, but I don't believe it's as dangerous as this is your brain on drugs commercials back in the 80s. So if he's moved it in the right direction, give him credit for it. I gotta go.
But once okay, bye.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And look, if he moved it one step towards legalization, I'll give him credit for it. But to me, it should be legal. I don't know how the hell it can be legal to use tobacco and alcohol, and marijuana still is illegal. Has anybody ever died from just overdosing on marijuana? I mean, like, there are actually medicinal benefits to it. There are no medicinal benefits to tobacco. If you use it as prescribed, it kills. I don't understand how tobacco could be legal and marijuana's not. That never made any sense to me. Same with alcohol. When you look at the amount of people that lose their lives every year to tobacco and alcohol and compare it to marijuana, makes it, other than the government has not found a proper way to make money off of marijuana. That's the only thing I can see. And then maybe there's a little bit of Christianity stuff thrown in there as well. But anyway, moving on with the program, no overdose, but allergic reaction. But they all live. And like I said, I'm someone who has never tried any of those. I've never tried marijuana. I've never tried tobacco. And I've never tried alcohol. But I can see I can see. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 156,000. I do have to step away for a moment. If you're watching on Instagram, TikTok, Substack, TikTok, I keep saying TikTok, Substack, Instagram, Clapper, follow the program. If you're watching us on YouTube, give your boy a sub. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I will see you tomorrow night. That's a famous phrase after hitting a home run in the World Series. I'll see you tomorrow night. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Real Talk, for your support. Some of you folks who helped out with the hat and mustache goes, I do appreciate that as well. I'll read a couple comments. Politicians want weed for health. People, wait a minute. Politicians want weed for health. People want it to escape. What's wrong with either one? I just don't see. I don't know why that graphic came up, but I don't see why it's illegal. I just don't. It should have been legal a long time ago. I just don't. So I believe in CBD oil more than anything. I don't think there's many people at all at this point that really believes marijuana should remain illegal. I think if they took a vote, it would probably be 80% of America would probably be saying that it should be legalized. Certainly, nobody should have a felony for marijuana. Nobody. Other than, I suppose, maybe if you're selling it, I suppose. But if they just legalize this shit, all of the negative actions of a marijuana black market wouldn't exist. You don't want drug dealers shooting up each other and shit like that. A lot of people that just buy it. You ain't stopping nobody from smoking it. All you doing is causing people to kill each other and shit to sell it and get it. But they still smoking it. So just sell it shit legal. Get a little bit of tax money out of it and reduce crime significantly. Not to mention all the people you're housing in prisons and jails. And that's coming out of the taxpayer money as well. It just should not have been done the way it was done to begin with. Anyhow, all right, Tim, you owe me in 6 other people. I gotta move it on. M-Dub, thank you for tuning in. You folks, thank you for watching the program. See you guys tomorrow. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I gotta go. Take care and have a wonderful night. See ya. I gotta hit some of these. There we go. I don't know what's going on with Instagram.